The solution lies somewhere in the using open source software. What open source means? The software developer who develops the software, he gives you the source code. He gives a blueprint. For example, if we prepare balance sheet of our client, we have put certain formulas into it. We can send this same Excel sheet to the client with those formulas. We can work with those formulas. If we don't want to do it, we can copy this Excel sheet, the other sheet, and remove the formulas. We will use the copy and save as some commands can be used. That is what we did the MS Office. Open source is the where the source is given, it is given to anyone. Whoever wants to develop it, he can further develop it, use that. Over a period, the softwares have licensing has gone under a change. The MS Office what we buy is a license to use it. There are the free softwares also. Everyone is using Android, the mobile phones. The software what it has is a free software. It is open source, it is given by Google, anyone can modify it. And if you find, if you connect to internet, software gets updated regularly. So people who are working on it get some updates on it. The recent model which is there, SAS, SaaS, is the software as a service. If you see the recent one, Office 365, they are given the license using the software as such, as a service and not as a software. There can be paper licenses and also the idea of this was that with this practice, why don't we use the software which we really need it? Because at times when we buy a PC, it puts the MS Office. It may not be always a correct version what you may be using it. If we are not requiring that, should we use it? Of late, various notices have been received by chartered accountants. The MS Office, Microsoft has a call center situated in Gurgaon. They call various professionals. They take the information from the operator, how many PCs, how many systems you are using it. Thereafter they start bargaining. You know they are not issuing notices, but they ask you or they to buy the licenses. At times at our offices we have the home office edition, which is not a version which we should be using it in our office because it's not a commercial license. Considering this, the chairman of the committee has thought of this program. Why don't we educate our professionals on the topic so that we are not caught on the wrong side in the days to come. I once again welcome you all to this workshop and hand over proceedings to the chairman, Manoj.
Thank you, President. The faculties for the evening, Mitesh, Manoj, past President of the Chamber, Council members and dear friends. Good evening to one and all. And as President described, the move towards open source is quite evident. In fact, few days back I read in Economic Times also that Indian government under leadership of Mr. Modi has also thought of shifting entire operations of government so far as IT is concerned to open source. And for that, they have roped in Mr. Amit Ranjan, who is supposed to be, I think, associated with the IT technology called SlideShare, and which has been sold to LinkedIn. So government is also on move to move to open source because they want to cut the cost. And secondly, we thought of this topic while I was discussing with Mitesh. It came out that we as a chartered accountant or advocates are by and large compliant people. We encourage the taxpayer or the assessee, so to say, or auditees to be compliant or on the right side of the law. And when it comes to information technology or intellectual property right act, probably we are unaware. Sometimes it's an addiction with MS Office without realizing that we are on the wrong side of the moral. We are in fact committing kind of wrong thing or crime, so to say. And why not therefore to have an awareness about it? The more idea is to create an awareness on how to move. And why this faculty, that Mitesh is a chartered accountant, Manoj is a technologist, and Ganesh Sharma, who is going to join later on, he is again a chartered accountant. Mitesh has himself transformed his office systems onto open source. So he has a hands-on experience as being a chartered accountant, but he has actually moved his entire operations from whatever Microsoft to open source, and therefore he will be able to take us through what are issues that he has faced, what were the not just the IT issues but also the interpersonal issues, the initial teething problems which one would face and all that thing. So I'll introduce Mitesh first. Mitesh is a chartered accountant and since 10 years in practice. He is partner in the firm called AP Doshi and Company, and his main expertise lies in handling accounting and tax issues and regulatory compliances mainly for VC funded companies. He is also a key member of leadership team at MyCFO, and has his key advisory role is also to provide and improve visibility and certainty in delivery of client milestones. Apart from this, Mitesh is a co-founder of the portal called MyMuninji, which provides accounting and tax filing services. And this shows his keen interest in IT side of the profession, and he has been propagating the idea about open source. He is also past convener of Ghatkopar CPA Study Circle, and as a part of social commitment, Mitesh is part of regional committee of an NGO called Sanskrit Bharati, which teaches spoken Sanskrit to the masses. With this brief introduction, may I request President to offer a memento to Mitesh. Yeah, Mitesh, you can start.
Yeah, thank you. The chairman of this session, Parel Bhai, chairman of IT committee, Manoj Bhai, and Manoj Kotak. I am very thankful to you for offering this platform to me to share my views on the open source. The idea came into our mind that time has come when transformation has to happen everywhere, and as you know, the transformation into IT is the biggest transformation from 1990 to 2010, 12, 14. The majority of scalability in the industry is achieved due to IT transformation, not due to the industrial transformation. And when we speak about scale in any industry, be it banking, like for example, you all might be connected to banking in some form or the other, being the chartered accountants. You might have seen the core banking transformation that has happened into the banking sector, and it has increased the speed of banking from 6 days to 3 days to 2 days to now almost RTGS. Everything is happening through RTGS. That is IT transformation. If you look at transformation in the industries, like if you look at our income tax department, we are getting refunds in 9 months, 10 months time nowadays. Even 6 months. People have told me that they have got their refunds in 2 months. That is the scale of transformation that IT can bring. In our offices, we would be filing 500, 600,000 returns, and we might be boasting, telling that we are filing a lot of returns. But when I approached TaxSmile, I came to know that they could file some close to 2 lakh returns in a season. That is IT. So wherever, in whichever industry, we all want scale, we will have to look at IT as the what you call as the enabler or the tool to transform us from niche to scale. And everything that has been niche in past has become scale in future. For example, a private taxi was a niche 10 years, 15 years back. Now Uber or your what you call cab has made it scale, from niche to scale, right? if you look at what we call a specialized kind of online purchasing, it was a niche 10 years back, right? Now we can see Flipkart's making it scale, right? So things have transformed drastically due to IT, and niche that people used to think that this is the niche that I am talking about has now no more remained the niche. So the transformation in the IT sector has been immensely progressive to allow all the industries to scale to the next level. So why not the CA industry look at IT very, very seriously, right? So all my brain, all my mind, can I put into IT and make my niche to scale is the question that we need to answer. Yeah, and we have got a lot of young faces around here, so it is more appealing for them. But at the same time, the experience of the seniors is also very, very important to scale. Right? So you look at UID. UID could scale. UID, that is the Aadhaar card. The idea of Aadhaar card is a young idea, but who could help to build experience into it was Nandan Nilekani, who worked for 30-40 years in IT industries, and he thought that okay, now is the time to give unique ID to everyone in this country, and that idea could scale. Right? So all seniors have to play a role into scaling up lot of ideas which are today niche to scale up, and that IT is the only way forward. That is what is the thought that came in our mind, and that's why CAs should be open to lot of things, including open source, right? So we were thinking 3 years back, 5 years back, that Symbian, that is Nokia operating system, is the best operating system, and the battery life that it could give was amazing 2 years back, 3 years back, right? Today we are saying I will carry power bank, but I will use Android, right? Because the importance of battery life is secondary now for me to the applications that I am able to use, or the mileage or the footage that I am able to get through the Android or iOS, right? So that transformation has become very, very usual and very casual, and we couldn't realize when we did away, sir, Ganesh. Okay, when we did away with our old Nokia phone. I used to carry 2 years back एक छोटा phone and one big phone, and I used to say that ये phone call करने के लिए, वो phone कुछ application use करने के लिए. So slowly that transformation happened, and when did I lose my small phone? I couldn't even recognize, right? Similarly, in this industry, the transformation wave, it is yet to come. It should start with us or next generation is the question that we need to answer. Okay, and I feel that it should start with us. Okay, so this is one of the steps to open up our minds towards looking at open source in open way. Okay, इसके लिए open doors to open source, that is what we thought of, and this is the fourth session of open doors to open source in different fraternities of CA community, including Ghatkopar Study Circle, Mulund Study Circle and whatnot, and Chamber has also done it. In fact, I should be on the other side of the table because I am convener of the Chamber's IT committee as well, but this time the president had to give me a memento, and it's okay, it's a part of life, but the point is this is the third or fourth session in this series, and we want to do more so as to spread this openness in the CA community. So my focus would be more experiential than technical, because there is a technical speaker, Manoj Bhai, who will take up technical side of it. I will take more experiential side of it, more CA side of it than the technical side of it, and would want to make things simple. Okay, so this is a slide of typical CA office transformation, right? So when you started your firm in 2003, 4, 5, there were 6 computers. This is my typical chart where desktop, thin client, and laptop. This is how the graph moved, right? So the desktop started coming down from 6 to 9 to 5 to 4, 5 to 7, right? Slowly it fell down. I didn't have any laptop in 2003, but today I would be having 10 laptops, right? So that is huge transformation. I just drew the chart so as to make out what changed in the IT, right? What other thing changed was the thin client, because it was very, very scalable. So quickly we can put more terminals and start giving people the access. So that also moved up, right? The total strength moved from 6 to 40 in whatever 11 years time. But the way the IT requirements change is very, very typical, right? Somewhere in 2009 we went with the server environment, full-fledged server environment. Okay, and 2012 we went to 2008 server, which is the latest server, and in 2014 we continue to use the server and lot of other mobile tools like iPads and whatnot that have not been featured here. Okay. So how did the software transformation happen? In 2005 we only had one software called as TextBase, which other than the MS Office and operating systems, what else we had was a TextBase. Slowly we thought that let us move to the more what you call collaborative environment. So we started moving to Google Apps. We started using more advanced Excel. You also may be doing same, right? So your transformation is somewhere similar to what we had. Then we bought software for doing VAT calculations as well, which is called as STEasy. In 2009 we thought why not to share appointments with people through Google Calendar instead of verbally sharing the appointments, and it made lot of difference. Then we thought why not to transform the server on the cloud, and we bought a license to Dropbox. And we also thought why not only IT and sales tech should be through the software. Let us also have a software for MCA, that is Ministry of Company Affairs. So we bought a software called as iPro. I have just put the names because you can either use these or you might be using it. It may be connected to you somewhere. In 2014 we thought how will we manage the time of these people, these 40 people, what are they doing day in and day out. So we bought a time management system which is called as a Papilio, which is more time sheeting kind of an activity. We also thought that we will not be able to send mails to everyone and talk to them full day, right? Everyone wants Mitesh to talk or Manoj Bhai to talk. So Manoj Bhai is not available all the time. So how can we personalize the things without being personally present? So we thought of using a mailing software, small mailing software called as Canvas. Then we thought can we transform the practice online? So we bought a CMS based website. And that time we also thought that can the TDS go online? So we bought a KDK package which can allow us to use text-based online. But in all this process, before 2012, we always thought that the hardware guy is the god and he knows everything about software, and he used to say, sir Winman डाल दूं मस्त गाना बजेगा उसके अंदर, सर मैं ये डाल दूं क्या बोलते हैं वो एक्सप्रेस डाल दूं उसमें आपको ये फटाफट यू कैन कंप्रेस थिंग्स, अच्छा वेरी गुड, सर मैं आउटलुक डाल दूं. So he was like king of all softwares, and all was in his hard disk, and he used to come with the hard disk and he used to tell क्या डालना है बोलो, right? When you go to a shop and if you buy something, you buy a pen or a pencil, he will charge you. There is a shop, but you can buy anything. But in this case, when I used to buy a desktop, he used to give me everything free. PDF converter चाहिए डाल देता हूँ, ये चाहिए everything was available on the go, and I was also enjoying. I used to think कि चलो सब कुछ free है अपने लिए, ठीक है. And we never thought till 2012 that there is something called as cost for doing all this, right? These guys who have made this beautiful software have not made it just for the sake of it, right? It is not a play, it is not the game to prepare a software, right? So why did they do it? We never thought of till 2012. In fact, many of us today would also not be aware as to the software needs to be paid for, right? Because hardware is just a what you call hard thing which allows you to do lot of things with the help of software. So why should the software be free? but we never thought of this, right, till 2012. In 2012, when we bought a server, big server of IBM, we thought that Windows तो free आएगा ना उसमें. नहीं sir, Windows थोड़ी free आएगा. You have to pay for Windows. And if you use pirated software in the IBM server, we will not give you the warranty. That time I asked, okay ठीक है तो बताओ कितना चार्ज लगेगा उसका. That time was the first time when it struck my mind that okay this is a paid thing. ठीक है, and same is with all of us maybe, right? Most of us would be thinking that everything other than hardware is free, but that is not the case. And we came to know about this and we installed 2008 official version in 2012. ठीक है, and that was the starting point when we came to know about transformation of buying softwares instead of having it free of charge. Sorry. So, and in 2013-14 we faced the problem because we were into the phase where we were growing and we never thought we never budgeted the cost of software into the hardware, and a lot of suffering came, and that time we decided that okay, let us think of something else, can we do something. Okay, and that time this thought came. Okay, so for many of us the software licensing was a myth before 2012 for me, right? For me too it was the same, but this changed to reality in the course of time. We thought that okay, it is paid and we will have to pay for it, or we will have to do something else. Okay, so then this idea came that can we pass this message to more people about the same, and what is the way forward, and how can we plan the software costing as well. Okay. So paying for license is to give credit to those who have made brilliant softwares, right? If you prepare a computation of income, right, then it is an IPR, and you will not want it to be given free to anyone. Similarly, the software is an IPR, so no one wants to give it free, right? He has put hours and hours of his to prepare that. So just because we can't afford it, we can't steal it. ठीक है, अपने को परवड़ता नहीं है. We will say कि सर वो तो मुझे परवड़ेगा ही नहीं. तो ठीक है, तो then can you steal it? No, because ignorance of law is not a excuse. We don't have an excuse to say that okay, I am ignorant about the law. ठीक है, so software piracy is a crime. So what we did in this process is to put up an architecture which is interesting for all of us. I have just made a practical slide out of it to give an idea as to how we can plan the licensing process. And we couldn't success to a great extent, that I will clarify, but we could success to a reasonable extent to pass this message on to everyone, so that when the corrections into the systems happen, we can quickly fall back and adopt to certain items which are in progress. Okay, so what we did to plan the licensing cost is to first do a office-wide survey of what are the softwares that everyone needs to use. Okay, and we found out that most of the softwares which are installed on the server are very, very costly, and they are used only by very, very few people. So all of us don't use all the softwares. Okay, even the office receptionist and the peon computers used to have Microsoft Office 2010, okay, as a luxury, and they thought that it is their birthright. Okay, even the people who never used mail used to have Outlook as their birthright. Okay, we could see people using Winamp on their computers as if it is a child's play. We could see many people using PDF Factory as if it is okay. Everyone needs PDF Factory, right? And most of us didn't use PDF Factory that time. Okay, so that was the commonality that we could see, and we made a chart out of it, and we thought that can we plan to move a certain piece of our office to open source, so that the licensing cost can come drastically down. and that's where this happened. So how did we plan the hardware? Was we put up two servers. One was the Windows server and one was the Linux server. Now this server shouldn't be always what you call a big machine. So it should not be always an octa-core machine with 32 GB RAM. Not necessary, right? You can make a small machine as a server. Many of us have a misconception that the server cannot be a small machine. It has to be a big, big server which is made on the rack. So it is always not necessary. So can we make a small Linux server in the office, which can run on a Linux what you call distribution called as Red Hat or Tigwin or something like that. Okay? And that time we got a guy who did a great job on the Linux distribution with the help of Tele. So he then allowed us to use Tele on Linux, which was very unique because Tele doesn't support Linux directly. So a lot of changes he has made and he helped us do Tele on Linux, which was the first phase, because we chartered accountants have to use Tele very regularly. It may be doing audits or doing accounting or doing tax filing or whatever, right? So he could help us do that. So what we thought is, can we make a Linux server in the office, and which is at a very low cost, and we can transfer certain people to start with, at least the receptionist, the accountant in the office, the people who are doing basic accounting job, the people who are doing data entry, they can go to a Linux server, right? Because they don't need very hi-fi Microsoft Office 2010. And we'll talk about certain myths that we have in our mind, which will help you to prepare this chart even more optimally, so that then you can decide whether certain factors are to be factored in or not. So we made a Linux server, and what we did is we kept all the data into this different box called as a NAS box or a data server, which helps backing up mirroring the complete data information into one. And another thing is, we separated the data from the Windows server completely, because there is a risk if something goes wrong with your Windows licensing, even they can seize this server. If something happens wrong to this user, they can seize the complete data. So if the data is separated out from the application, the risk of data getting into either this piracy issue or anywhere is reduced, right? And it is very simple. You can have a small old machine as your data server. You don't need a very huge and very highly speed based engine or something like that. Simple machine can become a data server, and you can put all your data there and you can be free. उसमें तो 2 TB का hard disk लगा दो, you are free, right? And you keep all your data here, so you run it through Windows or Linux is not a problem. We have one misconception here, which is very necessary for me to clear, is we think that the data files which are created by Windows will not run on Linux, which is not a correct statement, right? Data is data. It can run on any application if the application is compatible. Okay, so if you make an Excel file and save it on the data server, it can definitely be opened on a Linux server through the OpenOffice or LibreOffice. Ganesh ji will take that part up in detail. So Linux server is a completely independent entity, and the Windows server is the independent entity. So users here and users here. So Linux server should not connect to Windows server. That is a very important principle in the licensing. So we studied the Windows licensing agreement, and we could find out that even if you connect a printer to your server, Windows server, you are liable to have a CAL license, that is computer access license. You cannot access even a server through a printer. Okay, so it is so stringent, and you cannot if someone wants to find out something, some fault in your office, he can find out with the smallest of the issue. Okay, so nothing which is Windows should be connected to Linux. But Windows server can always talk to Linux server independently because Linux is open source. So we build the users who can slowly start migrating to Linux, and we reduce the usage on Windows. People who used Office as well as Tally could quickly move to this Linux server. Google Apps is anyways online, so there is no issue as far as you use Linux or Windows. So browser, that is your what you call Google Chrome, is available both at Linux as well as on Windows, so there is no issue. Your Mozilla is available on both Windows as well as Linux. There is one more point that our president just drew our attention to, was about the SaaS, that is software as a service. Most of the applications in the coming times would not be on your machine, they will be on someone else's machine, that is on the cloud. Okay, and when the applications will move on the cloud, you can access those applications through the browser. Browser matlab jo your Chrome or your Mozilla or your Internet Explorer, whatever. Like the banking applications, we regularly do NEFT, RTGS transactions, or even download certain things from banks like statements, or give application for new checkbooks or whatever. Sorry. So that is completely online, and that is what? That is an application that is running on someone else's server. We are using a mailing software which is completely online. That is a server. That is an application which is lying on someone else's server. We are paying some money for it and we are using it. That is an SaaS, that is software as a service, right? So it will become system or operating system agnostic, completely agnostic. So there is nothing to do with operating system. If you know the browser and if you can access it through browser, everything can work as smooth as it works on Windows. So this was the architecture that we used, and we avoided Linux to talk to Windows, but we allowed Windows to talk to Linux for data collection or application, and even the data server was independent. So this could work well in your organizations also to try for, right? Right applications at right place. So most of the time we ourselves use basic laptops through which we generally only browse mails, right? And we review some balance sheets or some accounts or computations or PDF files most of the time. For us, people like us who are just doing review or who are just using it as a communication tool, Linux is absolutely convenient, absolutely convenient. I am using my laptop on day-to-day basis only on Linux. Okay, and there is a distribution called as Zorin, which is a free distribution available on internet. You can download and 5 minutes you can apply it on your laptop and you can conveniently use it without any problem. If you want to access photographs or what you call music, everything is available. Manoj bhai has got a beautiful demo of Zorin with him. He can plug it in through a pen drive and use it on his Mac or any computer. So it is very convenient, very light, and even the battery life goes up 2-3 times with the help of Zorin. So his laptop, which was giving him half an hour backup, is now started giving him 2 hours backup. So that is the kind of magic that happened with Zorin, because it was very lightweight. Okay. For the server we can use a paid distribution of open source, that is Tiguin, which is having Tally available on the Linux server, right? Because we need Tally day in and day out, and there are people who use only Tally and Office. So for them Tiguin can be a very useful server, and they charge some 12,000 rupees per year for the server edition, which is very cheap as compared to Windows. Windows would be 1,80,000 or 1,50,000 plus, right? And Tiguin as an operating system is preferred for Tally for all applications. Zorin is a good option. Zorin can be used by people like us. We have also stopped doing entries in Tally, so it's okay. So our articles only do entries, so we can tell them that okay, please do the entry, and we don't need Tally on our system. Generally we don't. We just do the reviews, so it is okay, right? So what is the other aspect that we need to keep in mind while doing this transformation is the smart change management. because no one in the office other than us is interested to do any change management. Everyone is happy with what he is doing. सबको ऐसे लगता है कि ये सर कुछ ना कुछ नया नया लेके आता है, परेशान करता है मुझे सुबह शाम. So no one wants to transform. सबको लगता है कि sir is a boring guy, he brings something new and experiments it on us. So it is a very big problem. So first thing is to start with ourselves. Okay, so first you start using Zorin in your laptop. That is what I would suggest. And one more beautiful thing about this is you can continue to use Windows as well as Zorin as parallel operating systems in your same laptop. एक ही लैपटॉप में दो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम यूज कर सकते हैं विदाउट एनी हेजल. ठीक है, टिल सच टाइम यू फील दैट अभी मैं पूरा ये यूज कर सकता हूँ, you can then do away with Windows. Okay, because when I came and sat on this computer, even this computer popped up telling that your Windows is not genuine, and we are looking at this message very regularly, and we feel that okay, shut down. So there is a cross that Windows is being very beautiful. We can just click on it and we can be happy. अच्छा गलती से pop-up किया होगा. So we remove it, right? And on many of our machines also this message pops up and we are so carefree about it and we are so used to about it. The beauty of ये genuine वाला तो आता ही रहता है ना continuous. इसका मतलब ये genuine है ना. So that mindset we have got on. ठीक है. So first thing is we should try and start using Zorin or some Ubuntu or some distribution of Linux to start with. It is free and it is very convenient. Another thing is we generally do lot of trainings for our people in our offices on various topics of income tax, sales tax, audit, whatnot, right? But we don't do trainings for our people on IT. So I will recommend or rather suggest that we should start spending some time on training people in IT side as well. Okay? You see the speed at which or the efficiency at which your office can progress if your kids are trained for doing IT using IT systems properly. Okay? And that should include training them to use Zorin or Twin or whatever open source operating system or office software that you start using. Okay? So please don't think that I can do this without training and without changing myself. ये दो चीज नहीं करेंगे तो ये नहीं हो सकता है. That I can ensure. So first step towards this is to change ourselves, and second step is to spend on training smartly in some form or the other. And in all offices, I can guarantee you on the 80-20 rule that there are smart kids who can do lot of IT gimmicks. ठीक है, उसको ही मॉनिटर बनाने का, उसको वो बनाने का, what you call enabler बनाने का, and he will do the work for you. I have observed this on and off. When we started time management or the time sheet system, it was taken very negatively. People started saying, sir आपको मेरे पे विश्वास नहीं है, मेरे से टाइम शीट भरा के लेते हैं, इसका मीनिंग क्या है, मैं नहीं करूंगा, जाओ जो करना है कर लो. Right? And we got it adopted slowly. When we got 3 or 4 adopters, we showed them the result that इसने टाइम शीट भरा है तो क्या फायदा हुआ, इसको क्या फायदा हुआ, और इसने नहीं भरा है तो इसको क्या नुकसान हुआ. Slowly people started saying, वो सिखाओ ना मुझे कैसे करना है, I will also start doing it. ठीक है, because we cannot push them very hard, otherwise they will go out of the door, and that we don't want. So we will have to slowly play with the sentiments and get it done. ठीक है, and it is not very difficult, and they also want to learn new things. Like they want to shift their mobile phones from Android to iPhone. Yes or no? Yes, everyone wants iPhone. क्योंकि वो अच्छा दिखता है, वो अच्छा लगता है. Everyone wants transformation, and for that they will definitely learn iOS, which is different than Android, right? So how the interest of converting themselves from Android to iOS is common. Similarly, believe me, there is an interest in the kids to convert themselves from Windows to an open source Android. But the question is, can we make it fancy by ourselves using it first? That is the question. And if the answer is yes, I think that can happen. Other things, there are certain myths about Linux. One is, it is command line based operating system. No, it is not a command line based, it is a completely organized GUI, that is the graphical interface, user interface, which is very, very convenient, equal to what you are using your current Windows or whatever. Thoda sa what you call the graphic quality would not be so good, because they have focused more on efficiency than graphic. That's why maybe the graphic quality is not very, very high in Linux, but otherwise it is as good as Windows. Files created in Microsoft are not compatible with Linux. Yeah? Exactly, yeah. So files created are not compatible. Answer is no, they are compatible. Ganesh ji will discuss about that. Not secured. This is completely a myth. Windows se zyada Linux secured hai. That I can make a statement in front of media. Why? Because there is no known virus for Linux. There are many thousands of virus for Windows. Right? World over, Quick Heal and all your antivirus are doing beautiful business because of Windows. They are one of those who have told you that Windows is अच्छा है, Linux बेकार है, because they don't want Linux to get propagated. Otherwise, antivirus किसको बेचेंगे? That is the problem. ठीक है, so security wise it is equal or maybe better than Windows. Hard to learn. It is very difficult to learn. That is not the issue. As I told you, how you shifted from Symbian to Android. Similarly, you can shift from Windows to open source. Okay, if you understand the cost benefit, you will automatically shift. Okay, this is only for technology guys. I don't think that is the problem. Cannot be used for office environment. I think lot of big offices are using, like Manoj Bhai just told, government offices are also planning to shift complete operations from Windows to Linux. I have initially, in fact, when the sales tax online filing started, they were giving the downloads in the form of ODT files, if you remember. Few of them would be remembering. That was purely Linux. So our state government at the back end of sales tax department is completely open source. It is not on Windows, but they have of late made it compatible to the Windows, and they have now made slowly compulsory for Windows. But here is Ganesh ji, who has tried certain forms of returns on Microsoft, which can on the open source can be filed very conveniently. Then doesn't have antivirus. That is true. Okay. So ideal configuration, just for the sake of understanding of all the audience, simple Pentium dual core is fine. Pentium dual core, 2 GB RAM, sturdy body, cost 20-25,000 का laptop is perfectly fine for using either Windows or Linux for our offices. Server 5 से 15 यूजर रहेगा तो 4 core server. If 15 to 25 users are there, 6 core. 25 plus users are there, 8 core server could be used for as a server. Thin clients are frugal way of working on networks, and the cost is close to 6,000 rupees. So it is very, very reasonable to use thin client. And in our kind of a situation where we want data to be at central place, thin client not only helps us to reduce the cost, but also helps us to keep the data at a central place. So that is an added advantage about the thin client. Tips to avoid certain tangles from my side, and this is the last slide. Whenever you buy the hardware, make sure you install proper license software. नया हार्डवेयर लो तभी तो कम से कम अभी लाइसेंस सॉफ्टवेयर ले लेना. अगर नहीं लेना है तो जोरिन ले लेना. ठीक है. Make sure that you use commercial license for offices. As someone told, our president only told, that we think that when we buy a laptop, we buy an OEM license. OEM मतलब उसके साथ में लगा हुआ with the device हार्डवेयर के साथ, and we think that we are compliant. The answer is no. Manoj Bhai has got a beautiful case study where complete office was working on OEM license based laptops, and it was being put under the piracy scanner, and they had to pay a huge amount of money because the OEM license which you get in the Chroma or Flipkart or somewhere online is a home license. It is not an official commercial license. ठीक है, 5-6 हजार रुपये में 3 विंडोज someone is selling in Chroma. I went that day and I saw someone is selling 6,000 rupees. You can install it 3 times Windows. Sorry, our office. But that is not a commercial office. You cannot use it in the office. You have to use it only for the home purpose or library purpose or educational purpose. It is mentioned behind the box that this is for educational purpose or for home purpose. Very very clear. Never install unnecessary software. जो नहीं चाहिए वो भी हम लोग install करते हैं because we think that it is our birthright to have all the softwares. ठीक है, we use it, not use it, we will have everything. Put a sticker on the PC. So if you have an operating system which is official, please put a sticker on it saying that this is the license key of this particular official software. So tomorrow if you are caught anywhere, you can just show the sticker and you can go away with the issue. And you can identify the hardware particularly with that particular license. So it is very easy for you to evaluate as to what are the missing number of licenses in your office. Okay. The objective of this session, including Ganesh ji, Manoj bhai, everyone, is to give 70% reduction in the licensing cost. So compared to what we will be paying if we go with completely Windows against open source is not zero, but it will be 30% of the cost that you will spend in the Windows operating system, while being away from piracy, completely piracy free. Double data protection possibility. So data protection is not an issue because myself and Manoj bhai were yesterday discussing about the servers across the globe, and there is a statistic that Apache server, which is the Linux based server, is close to 46% of the total server strength of the world. So Linux is not a very weak player in the server industry as well. So data protection in Linux is as high or as good as that of the Windows. Minimum 30% improvement in the speed. The speed is definitely better in case of Linux, especially when you don't load it with lot of useless softwares than as compared to Windows. And uptime to your computer is also much higher. So 99% uptime is what we generally want. So once in a while it is down, but generally it is up and is running well. So these issues will be covered by Manoj bhai as well as Ganesh ji, and let's look forward to hear from him. Manoj bhai has handled a lot of case studies on licensing per se, live case studies where there are issues and he has gone and he has resolved those issues, because he feels that it is evangelism for moving people from Windows to open source. And Ganesh ji has done a very beautiful job. He is a chartered accountant. He has done a very good job on the open office. So he has two things he has done. One is to make open office available to other languages like Marathi and Hindi. So he has already finished the whole job for getting the complete manual list on Hindi instead of English. And this can make it available to all the villages, state government and whatnot, educational institutions and whatnot. And the other beautiful thing is to run macro on the open source, through which we can file the online forms like ITRs or VAT forms online through the open office software itself. So these are the two very good things that he has done in the open office, and he calls it as Bharat Bhasha Sanganak. So Manoj bhai will formally introduce him, but we look forward to the session. Thank you.
Thanks, Mitesh. It was truly enlightening for all of us. And may I request Samir to formally introduce Manoj Kotak and thereafter his presentation.
Good evening, friends. We have amongst us Mr. Manoj Kotak. He is the Managing Director of Image Online Private Limited. He's been involved in the IT sector and the IT industry for several years now. To begin with, since 1989. He has had several firsts to his credit, among which to begin with was one of the first bulletin board services in the state of Maharashtra and in Bombay. Bulletin board services in simplistic terms, and to put it in a more recent phenomena. You have got what are known as Google groups and you have Yahoo groups. Today it is so common for us to post a query on the Google group and somebody else would respond to it. We also have what are known as blogs. So in the olden days, the net was not as convenient as we know it today. But in those days also, Manoj was there online, providing a service to the community. He is fairly active when it comes to other projects also. He is a frequent speaker at various organizations like the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, private IT education and institutions. Manoj regularly speaks on topics like web, e-commerce, IT management. And I think today's session on software compliance also is going to be truly enlightening. It would be particularly important that we pay attention to this particular session because while as we heard in the earlier session that we take it so casually that Microsoft genuine nahi hai, the pop-up keeps on coming. We take it so casually that dal do pirated software, it doesn't matter. But you need to be very, very serious about it because the impact and the financial damage that it will cause you the day Microsoft visits you is going to be huge. Not to mince any word because I know I have been following one particular blog of one business community and almost every other day I see that somebody has raised a kind of a query. Is there any way to get out of it? They have slapped a 15 lakh rupee notice on me. Can I do something about it? Do I really need to buy such expensive software? Are there alternatives? So I guess the next two speakers will be talking to us about all those issues. I would hand over the proceedings to Manoj. But before that, I would request the chairman to present a small memento on behalf of the chambers and welcome Manoj.
Good evening, friends. Me and Mitesh has taken a lot of sessions together, and I got an opportunity to take this kind of session with cyber law experts too. Today I see that Mitesh already spoke a lot of things which I am going to speak, possibly copied a lot of slides, and you might see the same slides that I said. This is just a joke. So I will try to fine tune what he said. Like he honestly said that somebody got a threat of 3 lakh rupees notice and all. Whether you use original software or not, you must understand there is a serious threat to us. A serious threat, genuine threat, and also false cases coming on all small businesses through Mumbai police. I don't know whether it is knowingly or unknowingly. When I take this session with cyber law experts, whether you use original software or not, you can't escape from the law. There are so many loopholes. So by this session, we are trying to make you aware. And in this way, we will see to it that whenever this kind of raids come or inquiries come, the impact to you is minimum. What I understand from my cyber law friend is, there is no escape. But I feel we can definitely reduce the impact. And before I start this session, I want to have a disclaimer that I am no way here to encourage piracy. I am no way here to tell that Microsoft is right or wrong. I am no way here to say that you just switch to open source because you are paying more. I am here to explain you what is software compliance, how this company behaves, how it started, and do we really have an option? Because when I buy something, I need respect as a consumer, as a client. But the software is the only industry where the companies call and talk to client like he's a thief, which I personally cannot tolerate, and I want nobody should tolerate this. When you have paid money, you should be treated with respect. Having said that, why this software compromise is an issue. Is it an issue to us, or it is an issue to the software companies? We need to understand this, that we are switching slowly to use of tablets and mobile. Earlier we had no option but to use desktop. So when you use desktop, you will have to have operating system, which is most of the time Windows. It is predicted that very soon the mobile usage will cross the usage of tablet. It is already declared that 50% of the email we check is checked on devices other than a desktop. Now this is a direct threat to companies who are only into operating system run on the desktop machines. So their sales are decreasing. In spite of this fact, last year January, Microsoft India has declared that the record-breaking sale in India was in January because they started calling people and passing a threat in the name of software compliance. So I am going to explain you how this threat could come in two forms to you guys or anybody who are using computer. Earlier it was their problem. Most of the cases that I have handled, like he said, I have found that people are unknowingly using the pirated software. So in that case, the companies, the software companies like Microsoft is not doing anything wrong. What method they started following was right at that part, because they have spent millions and trillions to research and give you software which you can use. So they started with appointing a very big association known as BASF. They paid a lot of money to them, but their target was only 499 machine and above. They were not targeting if you are using 499 computer or less. During the process, they learned that when we approach this companies using a lot of machines and we see a lot of revenue coming in, why can't I set up a small and medium enterprise division where I go and set up the same process for machines less than 200 or rather more than 250 to 500. The results were amazing. They started generating a lot of sales. Now slowly this became their habit कि जब किसको भी पत्थर मारो और पूछो कि सॉफ्टवेयर ओरिजिनल यूज करता है, आउट ऑफ 199 पीपल will जिसको पत्थर मारा है बोलेंगे ये क्या होता है ओरिजिनल सॉफ्टवेयर. सो देन आई हैव अ सीरियस इनकम कि मैं अभी खड़े हो जाऊँ और पूछूँ आपका सॉफ्टवेयर लाइसेंस दिखाओ, नहीं है तो खरीदो, नहीं तो जेल जाओ. Then it is very easy to approach any association, any chamber of commerce, get the list, send a threatening notice. कैसीनो में जैसे पैसा गिरता है लोग डर के पैसा देंगे. So this is the point where scenario changed from wrong to right, coming back from doing right to wrong. पूरा उल्टा हो गया. They started approaching even offices which doesn't have computer. And when they started doing this, they forgot to check. There are 80-20 rule कि 80% अगर pirated use करते हैं तो 20% लोग original भी use करते हैं. So they forgot or they had no record which tells them that this particular person is using original software or no. तो उन्होंने सबको फोन करना शुरू किया without asking whether you are using original software or no, whether you have consumer ID or no. कितने मशीन है, आपका नाम मेरे रिकॉर्ड में लिखा नहीं है. And they have some process which I am going to explain in next slide. So if you come across any of these two process, you should know what are your rights and what are the steps that you should take. They don't want you to actually go to jail, but they definitely want you to pass a threat. if I ask this question, then how many of you are using original software here? Possibly all of you will hold your hands down. Then I'll ask you how many of you have got notices. Possibly you will not share this with me here. But after session, a lot of people I meet have gone through this, and it is very simple to send you notices. I just need to approach the Tax Consultant Association by the members directly and start calling people. There is no other rocket science to get the database from all the members. So there are two acts under which this checking can be done. The one act is IT Act, which is a very good soft act for us, and other is Copyright Act, which is really dangerous, where Bombay Police comes to you with the search warrant. The offence is bailable, but they normally come on Friday 6 o'clock in the evening, so you need to be ready to be in jail for 2 days. Monday 12 o'clock you can come out, and you have no idea that what software is right, what software is wrong, what you have done wrong. They start taking the printouts, and they start asking you whether you have this software, whether you have this software, whether you have this software. And these raids are normally not done by the companies. There are some third-party dealers who has right to check any software in a company. So they can even check your mobile. They will say this song is pirated. They will say WinZip is pirated. They will say this Marathi font is pirated. And you really don't know how this font is in their own machine, whether using it is right or not. And practically, being in this industry from 18, and practically and technically, it is impossible to track each and every file that stays on your machine. When you have 50 people working in your office, where you are allowing to bring their mobiles, when you are allowing to bring them tablet, when you are allowing them to access internet, when you are allowing them to use emails, how can you track that what is coming into your network and what is going out of your network? So IT Act is very soft, and most of the time they are not aware what you are using. Their job is just like someone say that there is a call center in Gurgaon. This is right that there is a call center in Gurgaon. Most of the software companies has a call centers in Gurgaon. They simply pick up the database from any source. The one source that I know is nowadays I can reach internet, and if I am a private limited company, I can see everything open, and I can see the depreciation that is being claimed on computers. No, I'm sure CA is smart enough कि अगर इतना depreciation है तो कितने का asset होगा, and now everybody knows कि 25,000 का कंप्यूटर है तो इसके पास 12 मशीन बनेगी, इतना तो depreciation claim किया हुआ है. So indirectly I know this. The second source to call your operator and act that you are a customer. Most of the CA firms don't have special receptionists possibly. जो लोग काम करते हैं वही फोन अटेंड करते हैं. So they will say, who is your boss? My boss is Mr. Mitesh. Okay, we are a foreign company trying to start up a setup in India. We are looking out for a good chartered accountant firm. How many people you have? Now even if I have 12, if I am getting business, I will say I will have 30 people. So they write down the number, 30 people, and next day they call the boss and they say that we understand you have 30 people. But we don't see in our database that you are original user of a software. The process goes for 7 days. Constant 7 days they keep calling you. This time they are polite and they warn you indirectly that please buy the software. And then they see and then they keep quiet for some days. But the whole process gets over in 2 weeks time. If you don't buy anything, then they pass their case to Mumbai office. And the whole process again goes maximum for 2 months. But you are always under constant stress and threat. They keep calling you and they keep telling you that we will raise a legal action against you, we will send KPMG guys to you. Their charges is 3 lakh rupees if your software, illegal softwares are found on your machine, this will be charged to you. And we know that you have 30 machines, you are using 30 offices, you are using 30 windows, per machine cost is 40,000. So please buy software worth rupees 12 lakh rupees. And then many firms not, it is a the threat like this that I will prefer winding up my company than suddenly buying a software which is worth 12 to 15 lakh rupees. The whole process absolutely goes like this. They call you, they see whether you are buying. If you buy even 5 software, they keep quiet, you buy 5 more, they keep quiet, then you buy 5 offices, and they slowly and gradually close down your case. But that does not make you safe. In the case studies which I am going to explain is, there was a company with around 500 machines in their organization. They have IT department, compliance department. I cannot name the company here. They have all the software. There might be some gap. So Microsoft, when they see that the sales being reduced, they called upon all the branches all across the world or sent a mail, and they said that we should arrange for a SAM, which is software asset management, and go to our genuine customer who bought the software and make sure that you find a gap of 20%. So if you have bought a software worth crore, I will come and tell you that I am doing a free software asset management, and I will say that these things are missing, you need to buy a software worth 20 lakh rupees. This is the way to increase the sale. That is fine for a big giant corporate who are actually using it. But the other case I have seen cases where it is a very small pathological laboratory. The total number of machines are 15. Total number of branches are 2. Head office is 1. The recent case ended in Diwali. And the doctor is a very good friend of mine. He knows that I take this session, so he called me off. They received a first call on Monday. Assistant forgot to pass this information to doctor. At the end of the week, they got a very serious call that if you don't attend to our query, we have no choice but pass this case to Mumbai office. Then doctor called me. I called his hardware guy. We sat together. The environment was very simple. They are all laboratory technicians. They collect the blood, they enter the data, they check the report. The report is automatically going to computer because the machines are capable of sending data to computer. At the evening they collect the case, they hand over the receipt. No internet is used, no email is used, no Microsoft Office is used, nothing is used. Of course Windows Server is used because it is multiple branches. They have remote machines. The whole story came down to, if Microsoft comes to that 3 branches and check, the laboratory will have to pay 15 lakh to 70 lakh rupees. But if doctor voluntarily say that the mistake has been done and I am ready to correct what is being wrong, the total cost came to 3,65,000. And you can see the difference, that is the amount of money being saved. Doctor was okay to spend. He said, I am ready to spend because I am running a lab, but I was not a bank. So I asked his hardware guy, what is this? He said, whenever doctor orders a machine, I have kept the CD known as doctor. उनको मैं ऑफिस डाल के देता हूँ, कोरल डाल के देता हूँ, फोटोशॉप डाल के देता हूँ, PDF डाल के देता हूँ, उनको मूवी का डाल के देता हूँ, उनको सॉन्ग डाल के देता हूँ. उनके लैब में रात को काम करने वाले लोग देखेंगे ना. So if you see this situation and this is possibly happening in your office, then no software expert can come and save you from Microsoft or the software that is you are using by other company. Now coming back to this 500 company case, the software giant hired the third party consulting. Now we all know that Facebook and LinkedIn that we are using, or Twitter, there is no privacy like anything. You give me your Facebook ID, within 30 minutes I can tell you what color you like, are you married or not, where you traveled last, which car you are using, what is your card number, whether you have a pet or not. People post anything and everything on Facebook. The same way, job for job, every candidate, even including me, my biodata is there on LinkedIn because it is easy. When I come here, you want to know my profile, I just say go to LinkedIn and see my profile there. So this third party goes to LinkedIn. In the LinkedIn, whether you as a company owner has written or not how many employees working with you, But when your employee enters the biodata and he writes image on private limited, it automatically adds number 1 person in my file size. And I have not created image on my page actually, but LinkedIn is automatically creating without my permission, and they see all the employees currently working with it and they were working with me in past. So these agencies went to LinkedIn, started calling people and said, I am a company trying to launch here from America, and I am looking out for a very good candidate like you, American package, working in India, but the condition is you should be working in a big corporate, more than 500 people. He will probably say, yes, in my company we have 700 people. Then say, no, other is because we are American company, we prefer Microsoft product. He will say, yes, all Samsung machine के ऊपर Microsoft के product है. Now they will go and check whether the database is matching or not, and then there is a raid. Then there is a counter case, and then there are so many things, but it is harassment. The office is sealed for 7 days, 8 days with prior notice. And this is the only industry. हम लोग जब भी I agree sign करते हैं, whether you use pirated software or original, when we install, we click on I agree. I agree means उसके अंदर जो conditions, if you go deeply and read, the software is not given to you as a ownership. When I buy a mobile, I am owner of that piece. But software is the thing which I cannot touch and feel. I don't like paying. इसके ऊपर हम 1-1 लाख रुपए दे देंगे, एप्पल के प्रोडक्ट को हम 1-1 लाख दे देंगे, बिकॉज इट इज़ अ स्टेटस, वी फील इट, वी एंजॉय इट. तो उसके अंदर जो सॉफ्टवेयर चलता है उसका तो ना डब्बा मिला ना CD. अभी एवरीथिंग इज ऑन क्लाउड लाइक मितेश भाई से. सो अर्लियर माइक्रोसॉफ्ट विंडोज के बड़े बड़े बॉक्स मिलते थे, तो यू दैट इज साइकोलॉजी दैट यू आर पेइंग 10,000 एंड गेटिंग अ बॉक्स. तो बॉक्स में तो जो है हम इसके अंदर डालते हैं, प्रोडक्ट के अंदर डालते हैं. So having said that, should we go for compliance? Because CA is the only industry where switching from Windows to open source is very difficult. And what I surprised to know that he has some product for which he has worked. Macro don't work on easily work on open office, but he has this product where Macro works. And like Mitesh Bhai said, Tingwin, his name is Linesh Parikh. I met him, I had a session with them. He's struggling a lot to bring Tally on Linux. So if these two things are converted, because I think 80 to 90% people in India, not CS, but even businesses prefer using Tally. And Microsoft has created such an ecosystem that certain software runs only on Windows. Why? Because when I develop a software, Microsoft gives me a framework or a software at a very nominal cost that as a developer, I would easily create a software and I'll earn more. Then why should I worry about my users? As a businessman, I will take care of. So everybody wants a Microsoft technology as a developer. We at our organization from day one are on open source technology. We never used Microsoft platform. And there are definitely an option available for every Microsoft or every commercial, not even Microsoft, because in our industry there are other software. In your industry it is, I am repeatedly talking about Microsoft, because you guys cannot run your machine without Windows. In typical CA environment, I have seen that you have dumb terminals where your machines are not machines. You have only one big server and your terminals are no hard disk, only screen. And you feel कि ये तो डब्बा है, इसके ऊपर थोड़ी सॉफ्टवेयर लगता है, सॉफ्टवेयर तो सर्वर पे लगता है. But Microsoft compliance is so complex that by doing this you are actually entering into more troublesome and more costly license than normal desktop machine. Microsoft says that you buy a server and you buy a desktop. So on server I bought 80,000 to 1 lakh rupees is the server cost. On desktop 12,000 rupees is my desktop cost. Now very simple rule that I bought a Microsoft server, I bought a Microsoft desktop. When I buy a server, that means this machine is going to connect this machine. That is why it is server. Microsoft said no. You bought server edition, you bought desktop edition, but if you want to connect, you need a CAL license, connecting access license. That is very much funny. And now within CAL, if you have office in the same building, you need a local CAL. But if you have office in the opposite, across the road, you need to have remote CAL, and the cost is different. Then Microsoft says, if you have 5 and less machine in your office, then I will give you Microsoft Office box for 13,500. But if you have 10 machines, you will have to pay 20,000. If you have 100 machines, you will have to pay 25,000 enterprise edition. Product वही है, same functions है, there is no change. Then why should I pay more for the same product? So the compliance that they have set is so complex. As an expert, to understand that you need to hire an expert who understands the software compliance. तो जब Microsoft की notice आती है, तो on internet you can go and find and search there are certain companies who provide their service who will tell you that कि Microsoft का notice आया है 1 करोड़ मांग रहे हैं, मैं आपको 75 लाख में सेट करवा के दूंगा, 25 लाख बचा उसका 10% मैं लूँगा. It is so complexly created that I will have to go and sit on every machine, see my license, मैंने कब लिया, मेरा ये machine किसको connect, like we just said the window printing example. So we are a typical web design paper-based office. मेरे pocket में pen नहीं होता है, we sign only checks, salary checks. Everything is 100 words per minute. We don't see keyboard, no printing at all. But compliance government के हैं, service tax भरने के time पे bill देना पड़ेगा. So there is where we need printing. So sitting in my cabin, if I want to print one paper and if I give a command in the network, I send a copy to printing machine which my assistant has. Now Microsoft says that you have used that print as a print server. So if you have a 46 machine in your office, you need to buy 46 carrier. Now this is really surprising and funny.
So this connection to connection is one and printing is another.
Yes, so peer-to-peer network is you have paid. We call it as peer-to-peer means there is no server. In my office there is no server. So you are connecting your single machine. But when you connect printer to one machine and when you issue command from 46, they treat that as a print server. And that is really technically funny. Because why I will buy Windows if I can't connect to machine, and why I will buy Windows if I can't issue a print command? If I can do that for everything, if I need to pay, I should start finding an option. Enough is enough. So the whole session today is, do we really have an option?
I have a small query on this Play Store which is available in smartphones.
Yeah, Google Play Store, Android. Yes.
Whatever apps we are downloading in the mobile, are they legally valid?
From Play Store, yes.
Play Store.
Yes, because Android is most of the time free. But you take the example of Apple, where you have to download from iTunes just like a Play Store. And there are free software and there are paid software. So Apple has made sure that you cannot easily copy software which you bought from one machine to another. But if you do that, I mean the software cost is $10, and when we meet through Bluetooth or through Wi-Fi or through email we share, then you will be in trouble. I bought it original, but you are using pirate.
So but in Android we are paying for the handset, we are not paying for those apps which we are downloading.
So depends on the apps developer. If it is written free, it is free. If there is a cost, you pay. Android has created an environment so that other can build an application which you can use. Now it is the wish of a developer whether to. So Google is charging only device and the marketplace that they have created, which is Play Store. I would request hold your question till last 10 minutes. I think we have 15 minutes to speak and last 10-15 minutes I'll keep for a question answer session. So I already spoke about this, that what is the kind of this industry where I basically being asked by seller कि आपने कितना कमाया, कितना मशीन है तो इतना दो, इतना मशीन है तो इतना. So what are the options that I have, and do I have a compliance? So till this slide we have seen that compliance is really complex. The conditions, the care licenses, the number of machines, and other thing if you notice, Windows started with Windows, basic Windows, Windows 3.11, Windows 98, Windows 97, 98 XP, उसके बाद अभी Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 9, skip करके सीधा Windows 10. So you are always confused, and so when I buy a car, it is my choice whether to keep it for years to come. People still using Fiat car with the gear in the hand. Now Fiat cannot suddenly come and tell me that I stop the support. You can't use this car. They cannot tell me this. So what Windows has seen that by mistake possibly they made a robust system known as Windows XP. Because any operating system of Windows you see they have some problems. But XP was very robust. 33% of the world's computer population was running on XP. All your ATMs, all banking software, most of the airline systems were running on XP. The XP went ahead for almost 12 years, 13 years without any problem. Suddenly Windows last year disclosed that I will stop giving the security patches to Windows XP. So that means 33% of the population of computer desktop need to switch from. Can you imagine the number of the sale volume that they would have generated? So what does it mean that I will stop giving the support? Means there could be virus entering into your system and I am not responsible for this. Then when even for the mobile operating system you see Android 4, Android KitKat, Android Jelly Bean, अभी इसके अंदर ये नहीं चलेगा, उसके अंदर जो नहीं चलेगा. So do you expect me to keep changing my hardware every year? Do you expect me to keep changing operating system every 3 years? And Mitesh Bhai said everything is going on a cloud. So cloud, you need to understand, or he is talking about SaaS, software as a service. So the whole scenario is going upside down because software company is seeing that कि ये मैं paper license बेचता हूँ तो complex है. It is difficult for me to go and check every office. So come on cloud. So the role of cloud, actually technically if you ask me what is cloud, cloud is incubator. So suppose 50 people sitting here cannot afford an office in Nariman Point. We 50 will pay 50,000 each, we will buy an office and we can time share it. So it's a cloud where everybody can come and utilize the same infrastructure at same cost. It does not mean that everybody will pay 1 crore for that office rent. We are segregating. Now this software company, when they say on cloud, they tell you to buy a license, install it on a machine and activate in cloud. So ultimately they are taking the whole control of how many machines that you are using without coming to your office, and they can see the data without coming to your office, without calling you. So this way they are becoming threat and complex, and that is why we need to immediately either find an alternate or keep paying them year after year. So now how do I decide whether I need Microsoft product in my office, or how many machines must use Windows? Like Mitesh was giving example of Windows Server as well as Linux Server. Now Linux is a free operating system, absolutely free for life, no condition. You cannot resell it, you can use it for yourself. Now Linux is complex to use, I agree a bit, earlier days, but now there are Windows like skin, we call it as a skin, so the feel of using it is very absolutely same like you are using Windows, and you need not go into nitty-gritty of command line or anything. The other software which is very useful for CA and accounting industry is OpenOffice. Instead of Microsoft Office, I in my life have never used Microsoft Office. And in this machine, even on Apple, I have OpenOffice. Anything that I send are written on OpenOffice, Word Writer, not on Doc. And the beauty is you can save file as .doc. You can open .docx, which is the latest version of Microsoft, in this machine without having an OpenOffice. So if you consider the cost of OpenOffice is zero, but if you consider the cost of Microsoft Office, depending on the number of machines that you have, ranges from 13,500 to 25,000 each. So now, if the first question is, how do I self-audit whether I can do away with commercial software? Now, I will not name Microsoft because we are recording here. So, commercial software. In commercial software, I will have to see the cost of the commercial software and can I avoid it. Till date, this industry cannot because you are using Tele. This industry cannot because government is forcing you to pay some TDS return which can only run on Internet Explorer. This industry cannot because you are forced to use Windows made software. So you can't go away with Windows. But slowly and gradually Mitesh is talking to me. I am interested to know because every industry we want to see whether we have an open source alternative. To my industry, in my office, I have 46 machines. Exactly 23%, 50% of the machines, 23 are on open source from last 4 years. And the cost per machine saved is 40,000. And now I have never faced problem in that division of mine. This division of mine gets once a year struck by virus. Even though I use not an antivirus original, I still see some security threat there. You need to shut down your machine for a day, clean it up, and then start. But on that division, zero virus, no failure. Machine, the speed has increased. Like he said, the previous machine I had was Toshiba, which is given to my son for research. He is also doing IT. He installed Ubuntu, which is technical version of Linux. My machine was battery life of 15 minutes, now it runs for 2 hours. So then, when you realize these software and hardware companies, you must understand that you cannot run a hardware without a software. So hardware is controlled by a software. So I am interested that my hardware gets resell faster, so I will tweak my software in such a way that battery consumption goes off after 3 years, otherwise you will not buy my new batteries. But Linux is independent. It makes use of hardware in such a way that the battery life automatically increases. So you save cost, you increase efficiency, and rather no save cost, it is zero cost. Right? So now this is a quick chart which tells you that operating system you get to pay 10,500 rupees. This is recent rates. Somebody had a rate and I know the bill, I know the code. Office suite around 20,500 because he has more than 10 machines. And when rate comes in, you need to buy enterprise, no excuse. Antivirus, minimum you need around 1,000 rupees per terminal. And if you buy in bulk, it is 500 to 600 rupees. If you have 40 machines, 50 machines, you buy together, total 32,000. Now Manoj Bhai said government is switching to open source. But government is 22.3% partner with these companies. You know the taxes is 22.5%. And I have few questions for tax industry always, which I don't understand. The Microsoft recent this case, if you see, on the bill they have written that price X Bhiwandi after 5% extra, and there is no box crossing the NACA, and you need to download it. They send you a key. So we are doing wrong by using pirated. Are they doing wrong by excluding the octroi? But the CA community said it is your responsibility to pay octroi as a buyer. But do you expect me to cross the Bhiwandi, go to Bhiwandi and buy what should I buy? पहले तो हम चोरी करते थे, कार की डिक्की में प्रिंटर लेके आते थे. But here तो चोरी करने के लिए there is no box. then what I understand is, okay, 30,000 when you pay through your credit card to international company, you are free to deduct, not to deduct TDS. So this goes more than 30,000, you need to pay 20% on their behalf. Am I right? So the foreign companies are selling software, 1,000 rupees per month. As a businessman, I will open 2 companies. I will pay 24,000 a year from this company, 24,000 a year from that company, and then I will save 20% TDS. And हमारे गवर्नमेंट का इंडियन रुपीज डॉलर में कन्वर्ट होकर चला जाता है. No service tax paid, no TDS deducted, no excise or whatever sales tax or that. So is this company also doing something wrong? That I will talk to Manoj by later. So if you see the top portion, value per machine your cost here is 32,000 plus 22.5% tax, which becomes almost 39,200. So if you have 10 machines in your office, you are saving almost 4 lakh rupees. But the question is, how do I know whether all the machines in my office can run without Windows? A very simple exercise that we suggest. You write down the name of people who are using the computer in your machine. Even your office boy if is using computer for entering a courier detail, you write down his name too. And write down the software you are using. In your case, you are using TextPay or your TDS return filing or digital signature. You write down on the top column, and here you write down the name of people that are using, and keep writing yes and no against each software. I'm very sure this exercise works fine in many organizations I have visited, and I don't charge. This is passion or a mission. This is not my main business to give consultancy on software compliance. It's a friendly visit that I made. I have seen that a lot of people, or 99% of people, had all the softwares which they are not using at all. The recent case which I explained you about laboratory. My brother-in-law sells a CCTV camera, walkie-talkie and event related stuff, having around 25 people in his company. 2 people use Tally, 23 people are marketing guys who receive a lead, who write a code, who send an email, and who in turn receive a mail, give it to accounting department, who prepares a bill. You need 2 Windows, 2 Tallies, and he had all 25 machine full of Microsoft Office, Tally and Windows. After attending one of my sessions, next day he called me, and now from last 1 year he is happily using 23 machine on Zorin and 2 machine only on Windows. So his cost is 80,000 for running around 25 machines in office. And no complaint call, no threat whatsoever. जब भी call आता है, you can invite them to come to your office and see. So this is the saving that you are going to make. Make self-audit of yourself and see which software is must. Like Tally is must, but now there is a company in Millard. This guy is more popular of selling a terminal which most CA people use, known as NJ or NJ terminals. He found it very challenging to see that he can. So he approached Tally, but Tally said it is very difficult to rewrite our whole code for which we have written for Windows. But we can help you somewhere if you are able to mix and merge. Possibly he is not so successful yet. Mitesh is constantly talking to him, and I think their install in Mitesh's office had some serious problem.
Now Tally has written on their website that
Yes, you are right. So he approached Tally, and Tally has written
on their website
that they approach, call that guy. Now that guy is good, but that guy's policy is somewhat resemblance to Windows licensing policy. So वो 1 लाख रुपया लेता है, 12,000 रुपया लेता है. एक टर्मिनल का 10,000 है, इनका 15,000 है. I have no remarks for that particular company, but you make yourself aware. In his case, if you buy a server which is 12,000, it is very reasonable, and next year you don't pay, that is fine. Next year you pay, it is 1,000 a month. But the other terminal that you need, you can use Zorin. You need not buy the desktop versions. So this is something which slowly and gradually, when you start practicing, self-auditing, leading, you can write a mail to me. I am happy to guide on you guys on mail. you will learn automatically. Initial time again there will be some problem switching. मैं अभी भी एग्जांपल देता हूँ Fiat इंडिया में there was only one luxury car Fiat. उसके बाद 118 एनी आई उनकी. So when you suddenly get changing from hand to floor, it is going to give you some trouble. And you said हम बहुत बार सिग्नल नहीं जाओगे वाइपर शुरू कर देते हैं दूसरे की गाड़ी. The same way you possibly I am into business from computer from 1989. Macintosh bought last year after मैंने कुछ जरा Microsoft का behavior अच्छा नहीं लगा. Control C and Control V Microsoft में कमांड इसमें there is no control key. So 1.5 महीने तक हम सर को आपट रहे हैं ये मशीन फेंको. तो कॉस्ट इज 1 लाख रुपीज़. वो मशीन मेरे को 30,000 में मिलती है. ओरिजिनल सॉफ्टवेयर के साथ भी उसकी प्राइस क्या होगी 40,000 रुपये विंडोज ही लेंगे तो. सो यू इनिशियली विल फील लाइक ही सेड वेरी गुड एग्जांपल ऑफ ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ट्रेनिंग. पार्टी रखो फ्राइडे को, डांस करो टीम के साथ, उनको बोलो माइक बिकॉज यू आर सेविंग 40,000 रुपीज़ पर मशीन. 25 मशीन में तो आप कॉस्ट ऑफ इमेजिंग यू कैन हैव सम फन बाय दैट कॉस्ट. And the stress free, the main intention is you will never got a call from compliance that you are using 40 offices. I am using 40 open offices, which is absolutely free. So do we really have an option? This chart I was explaining quickly. You can write down what all software that you need. I have written Corel Adobe because this presentation was mainly for printing industry. They have more thread because this software costing around 1 lakh rupees each. In addition of that 40,000, so their per machine cost was like 40,000. और एक भाई साहब की कंपनी में रिसेप्शनिस्ट के पास भी सारे सॉफ्टवेयर थे और रेल है और रिसेप्शनिस्ट सिर्फ वर्ड यूज करती थी और कुछ नहीं. सो दिस इज द सिनेरियो वेयर यू कैन सेल्फ ऑडिट योरसेल्फ. नाउ आई हैव रिटन द कंपैरिजन लाइक zorin-os.com is the site address. zorin-os.com. ये पेन ड्राइव में बैठा है. मेरे को टाइम मिला तो मैं मेरे मशीन पर भी रन कर सकता हूँ. एंड यू कैन ट्राई विदाउट इंस्टॉलिंग. सो व्हेन यू स्टार्ट इट विल आस्क डू यू वांट टू ट्राई. आई से आई कैन गो टू ट्राई. You can try from your pen drive. It is a 1 GB software. It takes 10 minutes to install, but it installs operating system just like Windows. It installs complete Office suite, including PowerPoint. I am not talking about Microsoft PowerPoint. It is Open Office PowerPoint. It opens all your PPT file. And I clearly don't understand why you need PPT. You can create presentation in Word and save as PDF. This presentation you see is not PPT. It is PDF file. You can see this. This is PDF file. This is not PPT. So now you see Zorin, you can save 10,500. OpenOffice, you can save 20,500. Not required, you pay 1,000 rupees. And taxes, you can save 22.5%. You need not pay taxes because you have not paid the cost. Now Zorin, as I told you, it gets installed in 10 minutes. It installs your operating system, OpenOffice, your all browsers, and the Thunderbird is a mail software just like Outlook. And believe me, Thunderbird was wonderful. If you see the screen, you will never feel like using other. Like I got Mac. In Mac we have Macintosh Mail. It runs very similar to what Mac Mail is, and it is also absolutely free. So if Ganesh's macro can help bringing in a complete Excel because only complex in your case is Excel. आपके सारे calculation Excel में और complex है. If you can, he can bring that, and if he can Limesh Parekh in the team in Delhi, nobody can stop this industry to save 40,000 per machine. I'm sure. So Mitesh will keep sharing more. Manoj Bhai will keep sharing more information on the update. There are two sites you please write down. opensourcealternative.org and osalt.com. I will set these two sites in with Manoj Bhai who can send mail to all of you. Beauty of this site, you be in any industry, you go and there is a list of commercial software and absolutely free alternate software to particular commercial software. They have openly listed this. So now when you self-audit, sometimes it is possible that you will see that I need to have digital signature or I need to have TDS upload software. So you segregate that out of 25 people, how many people are using upload TDS, or reduce the number to 5 or 6. Only in that particular machine you have Windows, and have mix and match, just like Mitesh explained about Linux server and Windows server. Because when you touch Linux, you don't need CAL, but when you touch Windows, even with your phone, you need CAL for handheld device. So bring maximum number of connection on Linux because it is free, and keep rest which is unavoidable on Windows. We have 5 to 7 minutes to take your questions.
One thing, I just say, is that XP Office, now they are phased out, now they are no longer selling. So now I am using XP.
Yes.
Now how they can compare with, because
They cannot, but you will start facing virus problems. So many software will stop working there.
So in that case, no, they cannot compare me use this. I want XP.
If you bought original,
No.
then they will. They will.
But now if you want to sell me that XP,
They will not. They will not. I mean, they will tell you to buy Windows 8. Keep
I
using
don't
XP.
want to buy.
No, keep using XP, but pay for it.
Pay for it.
Mercedes no Fiat चलाओ.
मेरा गाड़ी कौन सा चलाना, वही सॉफ्टवेयर आई विल यूज मेरा.
बट मैंने आपको पकड़ा ना, तो भी आज की तारीख में मैं 8 ही बेचता हूँ. आपको XP यूज करना है, आप XP यूज करो, बट 8 का पैसा दो.
मेरा
क्योंकि आपने पहले नहीं दिया ना. आपने पहले दिया तो दे के नॉट कंपेयर. मेरे को चलता है, मैं वहाँ पर वायरस आने दो तो चलेगा. इफ यू पेड फॉर द फर्स्ट
सर मेरे को प्रूफ नहीं, 8 साल पुराना होगा, कभी XP का भी यार ऑनेस्टली.
so they will you have to buy it. That is the problem. They ask for the proof of purchase. They ask you. मैंने आपको बिल दिया तो I should also keep account ना. मेरे पास नहीं, मैं मल्टीनेशनल, मैंने 100 करोड़ लोगों को बिल दिया, अभी मेरे को क्या मालूम 5,000 का बिल कब बनाया. So आप लोग हमको बोलते हैं ना 7 साल अकाउंट रखो, तो आपको भी रखना पड़ेगा. Microsoft rule is give me some proof of purchase. रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर, आपने रजिस्टर किया था तो तभी उनको आपको एक रिटर्न मेल देते हैं. पेपर लाइसेंस, क्योंकि पहले के जो बॉक्सेस थे उसमें पेपर लाइसेंस, यू आर बाउंड टू प्रिजर्व. आपको मालूम है स्टिकर होते हैं नीचे, वो स्टिकर घिस गए तो वो ओरिजिनल नहीं है. हाँ, स्टिकर, बिकॉज दैट इज कनेक्टेड विद दैट मशीन. अब पेपर लाइसेंस हम क्यों लेते हैं? हाँ, पेपर लाइसेंस क्यों लेते हैं? आपने मशीन चेंज किया ना, तो पेपर लाइसेंस कैन वर्क ऑन अनदर मशीन. OEM तो अपने मशीन बेचा तो उसको खरीदना पड़ेगा. OEM ने आपको लाइसेंस दिया.
जो इंस्टॉल करना है, इसके लिए कोई एजेंसी है जो हेल्प करती है या कोई
वो चार्ज करेंगे और फिर वो माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का 25% चार्ज करेंगे.
हाँ, तो अभी तो रियल चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट को अपना नॉलेज है
नहीं, सो एक jorin.os.com मैंने दिया है. आप मूवी डाउनलोड करते होंगे, सॉन्ग डाउनलोड करते होंगे, वैसे उसको डाउनलोड करना है, पेन ड्राइव में कॉपी करना है और पेन ड्राइव लगा के प्रैक्टिस करना है. पेन ड्राइव लगा के उसको स्टार्ट करना है. बदली मत करो. जब भी मूड खराब होता है पेन ड्राइव निकाल दो, विंडोज चलाओ. पेन ड्राइव पे जैसे अभी मैं कुछ सीख रहा हूँ तो वो सर बोले रोज 1 घंटा रियाज करके आना, तो आप आधा घंटा जोरिंग यूज करो, इजी है. मितेश भाई यूज कर, नेट से डाउनलोड करना है. और आपके एसोसिएशन से लेकिन कि पेन ड्राइव बना सकते हैं आप, उसका बेसिक कॉस्ट लेके पेन ड्राइव से यूज कर सकते हैं. अभी मैं इम्पोर्ट करूँ, इसमें जोरिंग शुरू हो जाता है. इट इज वेरी इजी. मैं बोल रहा, इट इज जस्ट चेंजिंग अ गियर, एक कार से दूसरी कार की मैकेनिक.
Yeah, my question was about the CAL for the Windows desktop operating system side. If you are sharing a printer, let's say I have only one Windows machine, Windows 7, okay, and the rest everything is Linux or whatever, and we are sharing the printer through that Windows machine. But Microsoft is not selling CALs for the Windows 7. They are selling CALs only for servers.
जो ड्राइवर है, प्रिंटर ड्राइवर, that is meant by Linux.
No, even if I tell Microsoft give me CAL for Windows 7, they are not giving CAL.
तो भी पैसा लेते हैं और अभी बना दिया उन्होंने.
Now they are coming CAL for desktop.
Yes. See, CAL is not for desktop. CAL is
CAL is to connect.
connect to the server.
But when you buy CAL, they always ask you which server you want to
यस, तो पहले नहीं था, अभी उन्होंने कुछ कर दिया है, कॉपी टेक्स्ट फाइल ही करते रहेंगे. बट द अदर क्वेश्चन इज सपोज यू डोंट हैव अ सर्वर. मैं ये बता रहा हूँ, हाँ, पीयर टू पीयर. सो पीयर टू पीयर है वर्क ग्रुप, इस मशीन को इस मशीन से देखना है, दैट इज अलाउड. बट व्हेन यू पुट अ वन प्रिंटर एंड से फाइल प्रिंट, और वो प्रिंटर एचपी का है और आपने विंडोज के अंदर ड्राइवर इंस्टॉल किया है, सो ही सेज कि यू आर एबल टू यूज दिस फैसिलिटी बिकॉज ऑफ माय सॉफ्टवेयर, सो इट बिकम्स अ प्रिंट सर्वर. तो यू बाय अ कैट. वो कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी अभी तक आई नहीं है, बट जब मेरे को आना है, अभी इसका लेना ही आपसे, तो इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स है. सो इसको समझना इज इवन बियॉन्ड माय एक्सपर्टाइज. Yes, so I also in a software industry, so I go to my dealer जो ऐसे मुसीबत के टाइम पे आके हमको बचाता है मतलब वो तो पैसा ही लेता है. Yes, we don't understand. Yeah, तो उसने मेरे को बताया. So now I stop. What we do is वो नेटवर्क से निकाल दिया है. मैं मेरी असिस्टेंट को मेल करता हूँ, प्लीज प्रिंट दिस फाइल एंड सेंड इट ऑन माय टेबल. ऑफिस में 3 ऑफिस बॉयज है, वो ये काम करते, पानी पीने की जगह पे पेपर नहीं है. वो ठीक है, हमारे घर में वी आर पेपरलेस. आपके तो पेपर भी ना चलेगा ही नहीं, एवरीथिंग यू प्रिंट.
Second question was about the Copyright Act. Now, Copyright Act is something probably it's strange. They come to industrial centers, industrial complexes basically, and they suddenly come, and they don't even check your software.
और पैसा
People are scared and they pay.
पे गुड.
And actually, they look for songs and movies.
मैं उसीलिए तो आ रहा हूँ ना. दिस इज माय मिशन. दैट इज ट्रू फॉल्स रेट. सो कॉपीराइट एक्ट से लेमिंगटन रोड पे आप जाएंगे तो आपको पहले सीरीज मिलती थी, अभी भी मिलती है. या आप लोग कभी फोर्ड क्रॉस करते हैं तो वो आपके पीछे आता है सीडी देने को, वो 50-100 रुपये में जो सीडी देता है जिसके अंदर विंडोज है, ऑफिस है, पूरा है. द कॉपीराइट एक्ट इज मेड फॉर हिम, नॉट फॉर पीपल लाइक यू एंड अस. बट लूपहोल ऐसा है. कॉपीराइट एक्ट जो मैं मनीष केने एज अ साइबर लॉ एक्सपर्ट happened to study with me from 1 to 10th, और सडनली हम बहुत सालों के बाद में एज अ स्पीकर मिल गए. तो मैं तो उसके ऑफिस में दूसरे दिन ही पहुंच गया. ये आप जो बोलते हैं ये महीने में 3 सुन रहा हूँ,
Many clients of mine.
और ये सारे फंस के डर के देते हैं.
And they tell me what software. I said there is no saving. You can only reduce your cost.
नहीं, वो बोलते हैं ना कि इफ यू ड्राइव अ कार विदाउट एयरबैग, तो एंड यू कार ड्राइव विद एयरबैग, तो इन दोनों में गारंटी नहीं कि आपकी डेथ नहीं होनी है, बट एयरबैग होगा तो इम्पैक्ट कम होगा. सो ये जो रेट्स आती है ना, उसकी इम्पैक्ट डेफिनेटली हम कम कर सकते हैं.
They are mostly in industrial estates.
दे कम टू इंडस्ट्रियल एस्टेट, दे कम नॉर्मली टू नॉन आईटी कंपनी. उनका कैसा किस्सा है कि यू हैव एवरीथिंग ओरिजिनल. मेरे दोस्त की ऑफिस में हुआ था, एवरीथिंग ओरिजिनल, बट उसकी ऑफिस में कोई महाराष्ट्रियन लड़की की शादी थी, उसने नेट से कोई फॉन्ट यूज किया था अपनी वेडिंग कार्ड को टाइप करने के लिए, एंड डायरेक्टर डोंट नो. और उसके फादर जॉइंट फैमिली के 75 इयर्स मेन डायरेक्टर है. वो उसको बोला कि हम जेल में लेके जाएंगे, नहीं तो 5 लाख रुपया दो. तो ऐसे केसेस होते हैं व्हेन दे टेक 7,500, बट वो चेक कभी भरा नहीं जाता है बैंक में, क्योंकि वो बाहर जाके फाड़ देते हैं और आपने कह दिया तो कोई प्रूफ नहीं है. सीसीटीवी कैमरा बंद कर देते हैं. एज पर इट इज योर राइट दैट यू शुड कीप सीसीटीवी ऑन. आ सकते हैं कॉपीराइट एक्ट में, विदाउट वारंट आ सकते हैं, बट ऑफेंस इज बेलेबल. बट फ्राइडे 6 बजे रेड होती है. एवरी फ्राइडे 6 बजे लोग प्रे करते हैं क्या अभी नहीं.
And even if they find one MP3 song in your computer.
आप MP3 भूल जाओ, स्पीकर लगाते हैं ना ऑफिस में,
That is also not.
आप सीडी खरीदते हैं 150 रुपए की, 300 रुपए की. मैंने ओम भूगोस को सुबह टीम को सबको ओम भूगोस को सुनने का, ओम नमः शिवाय जबरदस्ती सुनने का. आप जैसे ही स्पीकर में लगाते हो ना, वो आपने 300 रुपया दिया था आपके कान के लिए या आपकी फैमिली के कान के लिए. आपने 40 लोग के कान के लिए 300 × 40 देना चाहिए था. दैट्स द लॉ. एंड देयर इज अ इंस्टीट्यूट नोन एज PIPL. माय कजिन वर्क्स देयर. वो बोलती है कि 40 आदमी है और 10 स्पीकर हैं, तो आपको 8,000 रुपये साल का देना है. तो लॉ इतना डेंजरस है. तो बट नोबडी इज, मैं बोला ना कि इम्पैक्ट कम कर सकते हैं. तो मैंने हमारा विदाउट वारंट आ सकते हैं, और आए हैं. ये मेरे सामने केस है. नहीं, एज पर रूल मैं पुलिस को थोड़ा न्यू अनरिस्पेक्ट से खाकी बोलूंगा. क्योंकि लॉ में डिफिनेशन ऐसा है कि खाकी कैन कम एंड चेक योर मशीन, बट खाकी ब्रिंग्स द एक्सपर्ट विद हिम, व्हिच वी डोंट नो. सो नो योर राइट्स में ये आता है कि आप बोलो इंस्पेक्टर को भी तुम चेक कर, तो वो लॉयर मेरे को बताता है कि फाइन तुम स्मार्टनेस दिखाएगा तो खाकी बोलेगा ठीक है यू नो द लॉ, तो मैं ये आपका मशीन फॉरेंसिक में लेके जाना पड़ेगा. और रात को उधर जाके गेम खेलते हैं और 7 साल तक आपका केस खुलता ही नहीं है, आपका डेटा उसमें अटका पड़ा है. तो आप क्या करेंगे, पैसा देंगे कि एग्री कर लेंगे. तो कुछ केसेस में लोगों ने अपोज किया है, बट उनको जेल में आना पड़ा. तो हमारे में हिम्मत होना चाहिए 2 रात अंदर रहने का, सूट बूट पहन के. इफ यू रेडी.
Fidelity issue with open office. So a lot of people will send information which may have been made in a PowerPoint or whatever. I have noticed there are some fidelity issues with formatting etc.
Bit. So इसको क्या, गणेश जी will throw more light on this. उसको मैं सिंपल रूल क्या बोल रहा हूँ कि आपने इतने सालों तक एक्सेल में फाइल बनाया, उसमें फॉर्मूला सेट है, ऑफिस में 100 फाइलें हैं, 100 फाइल को रिक्रिएट करो इसमें ओपन ऑफिस में विद नया फार्मूला देखिए, बट इसके फार्मूला फॉर्मेट फॉलो, थोड़ा मेहनत है बट सामने 25,000 रुपये बचता है. और इसको सेव एज एक्सेल कर दो, और सेव एज एक्सेल करने के पहले उसका जो ODX फॉर्मेट है उसमें डिफॉल्ट सेव करो. पीपीटी में फर्क क्या होता है, मैं और मनीष जब सेशन लेते हैं ना, वो लेके आता है पीपीटी, मैं खोलता हूँ ओपन ऑफिस में, उसकी पहली स्लाइड का फॉन्ट की साइज 15 होती है, मेरे को उसको 13 करनी पड़ती है. थोड़ा फर्क है, उसको आप एडजस्ट कर सकते हैं. गणेश जी विल हैव एग्जैक्ट, और उनके पास मैक्रोज रेडी हैं, तो आप मेहनत बचा दी होंगे आपकी. सो फर्स्ट क्लास का पास सेकंड क्लास में चलेगा, सेकंड क्लास का पास फर्स्ट नहीं चलेगा. सो आई एम यूजिंग 7, मैंने 3 और नए मशीन लिए और आई एम हैप्पी विद 7, बट अभी 7 मिलता ही नहीं है. सो यू बाय 8 विल अलाउ यू टू डाउनग्रेड अप टू प्रीवियस लेवल. सो आपको ऑप्शन देगा डाउनलोड 8, डाउनलोड 7, डाउनलोड 6.5. नो, वो होम उसमें भी कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी है. सो इफ आई एम इंडिपेंडेंट कंसल्टेंट वर्किंग फ्रॉम होम, जो SO बोलते हैं स्मॉल ऑफिस, होम ऑफिस, तो वो उसमें चलता है. होम डज नॉट मीन ओनली होम यूजर, बट मैंने कम इन दी कमर्शियल एनवायरनमेंट, और मैं आपका मशीन कनेक्ट किया और कमर्शियल प्रेजेंटेशन दे रहा हूँ, तो वो उसका माइनिंग खत्म हो गया, मैं घर के बाहर आ गया हूँ.
And if I have Windows 8 home version, I can't downgrade to Windows 7 home version. Even if I have
Because you have got a box.
No. I got it with the laptop. Let's say I buy
तो
a
नहीं.
laptop. Then I don't get downgraded.
नहीं, जो पेपर लाइसेंस, when you buy a paper license, then they give you access to net, और नेट में जब आप अपने अकाउंट में जाते हो तो तभी you have a previous version.
So if I buy, if this guy buys the laptop,
सॉफ्टवेयर तो बेचता है, उसके साथ उस सर्विस भी तो देना चाहिए, जबरदस्ती भी कैसे कर लेगा. देखो ये बस सिलिंग सॉफ्टवेयर में जो यूज सर्विस जो ट्रेनिंग,
आप जो पैकेज होता है, हमारी बिस्किट दे दो तो थोड़ी पिरोज के देगा, खोल के खाना है अपने को. ऐसे सॉफ्टवेयर के जो पैक है ना, इट इज मेंट लाइक दिस, के बॉक्स है, खोलो खाओ, नहीं चला तो सपोर्ट नंबर है, आई कांट इंस्टॉल, मेरा की नहीं चल रहा है तो उनके सपोर्ट नंबर है.
एक्सपीरियंस भी आउटडेट हो, फेज आउट हो गया, सब कुछ करा, फिर हम लोग वही अगर यूज करना है तो हम बोल रहे कि आगे का पैसा तो ये यूज कर.
नहीं, 12 साल हो गया, मैं सपोर्ट ही नहीं करूंगा. मैंने बोल
सर्विस हो गया तो पैसा मांगूंगा उसका,
उसका नहीं मांगूंगा, मैं का मांगूंगा.
लास्ट
can you not take Microsoft competition commission?
यू कैन, आप आओ, हम सब तैयार हैं, कैमरा उधर की तरफ करो. सच्ची में हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं. सिर्फ मोनोपोली तो है डेफिनेटली, बट ये बहुत हायर लेवल पे हो सकता है. यू कैन. और टैक्सेस लॉ, लास्ट क्वेश्चन, वो कभी से Tally runs on what? Unofficial Tally. Yes. सारे अनऑफिशियल सॉफ्टवेयर सिर्फ विंडोज पे ही चलते हैं. मैकिंटोश पे चला के दिखाओ. नहीं वो, या श्योर. सो बेसिकली लास्ट एग्जांपल, वो अब अपने घर में कुत्ता पाला छोड़ दिया, जिसको काटना है काट। अभी इंजेक्शन का खर्चा जिसने खाया वो ही देगा, मैंने आके पकड़ा अभी तो ऐसा है। एनीवे, थैंक यू वेरी मच। If you have more questions, you can send a mail to mkotak@gmail.com. Manoj Kotak is my name, so mkotak@gmail.com.
Friends, we really had an excellent session, and now we are moving to the third. And again, we have a chartered accountant who will take us through the actual applications that we run. How do we, run them on open source? May I request Avinash, Vice President, to introduce Ganesh Karnan.
Thank you, Manoj. My profession, Ganesh, is a chartered accountant. He was in the logistic company, and after that he moved to the financial advisors industry. He owns and runs a boutique investment bank named SM Capital Advisors. He is very widely read on subject ranging from history, philosophy, politics, Indian culture and cricket. He is involved in promoting many social causes in the area of promoting Hindu culture and traditions. He has recently promoted, along with his family, a publishing company, Somayaji Anna Publisher. A division of this company, Bharat Bhasha Sangalan, has launched a bilingual office productivity suite by name BBS Office. And this BBS Office has been built on OpenOffice 4 and customized for the Indian conditions. BBS Office is presently available in the English and Hindi. BBS intend to offer the product in all Indian language. With this, I request all of you to give a big hand to Ganeshji and I request Chairman Shri Manoj to offer a moment to him.
क्या हुआ आपका पेन ड्राइव में, तो इस पे रन कर लो। Will it help? ये मैक के लिए काम करते हैं, बट यू हैव प्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ पेन ड्राइव नहीं ये इस पे जाएगा, नहीं जाएगा ऑन साइड भी नहीं, डिस्प्ले होना उसका बेड़ा है ना,
ये कोड है,
फायर वायर पोर्ट है करो, ये है मेरे पास, इफ दिस वर्क्स। क्या बोलेंगे?
Yeah, in the meanwhile, I think I'll quickly take you through.
बट
Yeah. Good evening, friends. Our inspiration to start Bharat Bhasha Sanganan is, actually the name implies, Indian language computing. You would all have traveled abroad and would have seen that almost every country in the world computes in their own language. We are perhaps the only country where we compute in a foreign language. English has become some form of an exclusionary character. It has acquired an exclusionary character that we know English, so we have access to things which the rest of India does not have. About 10% of India knows English, and almost all of them have computers and have been penetrated. Whereas that 10% of India, because our population is 125 crores, we have a population of 12.5 crores, 125 million, which is slightly more than twice the population of UK, which computes. So it is a universe by itself. Imagine twice the size of UK is 10% of our country, but 90% of our country does not compute, owing to our dependence on English for software. So our inspiration when we started was that, if the top 10 exporting countries in the world use their own mother tongue, and we are nowhere near being anywhere near the top 10 as an exporting country, we felt that it is necessary that the language barrier be overcome to really bridge the digital divide. Because the government of India in the last few years have been trying to provide broadband and also to provide low-cost computers like Akash, and they have tried to bridge the digital divide. The digital divide is not going to be limited. The digital divide is not going to be crossed unless we have the language barrier, unless we cross the language barrier. So that is how we started. But along the way, when I was talking to Mitesh Bhai, he said that since we have come up with a bilingual software in English and in Hindi, ours is an open office build based on version 4.0. We call it BBS Office. Now it is available in English and Hindi. Now Mitesh Bhai told me that it will be a good idea if you can customize it with couple of features which then makes it very worthwhile for the CA community. I'm very grateful to him for that suggestion. We have been working very hard on that. Two things he told me. One is that from Tally it should be possible for us to export to BBS Office, because we all export files to to Excel, and we share the Excel file with our clients and others. So if it is possible, because it's not possible now to do it in open office, can you make it possible that it can open in instead of in Excel, can it open in BBS Office? That was one suggestion he made. The second suggestion he made was that the macros, that is all the forms that you download. I'm a chartered accountant by qualification, but never practiced, so my knowledge of taxation is pretty low. He was saying that if the ITR forms and the VAT and other forms that are these days downloaded, if you can download it, and if it is possible for us to then upload it after editing as XML, that would be great. Now, in the entire world, except for this Chinese company, Kingsoft, which is now famous for Candy Crush, they started with Chinese version of OpenOffice. Now that is the only company outside Microsoft which has implemented macros for VBA. Now we are in the final stages of our beta testing on the macros, and the Tally export thing is working. We have already launched the version without macros, and companies like Shriram Finance have bought, and many other companies are in the process of buying, because for them they have two types of users. They have the power users and they have the regular users. The regular users, what they want is compatibility between, interoperability between MS Office and BBS Office. Two-way interoperability, that is happening. Very high level of compatibility. You can make files in BBS Office, open. In fact, you can make files in the Hindi version of BBS Office, write formulas in Hindi. That is again the first time we have made it possible. The Hindi language pack of Microsoft Office does not allow you to call the functions in Hindi. A person who does not know English, if he is using the Hindi software, how is he going to use the functions? And if you can't use the functions, what use is Excel? So since our inspiration was that we should allow and we should make it possible for all people in India to be able to access the computers as their counterparts do across the country, across the globe, we made it possible. I mean, we have introduced all the functions in Hindi. Now, if you write, say, if you write the IRR, if you write a function for IRR, we call it in Hindi Antarik Pratyay Dar. Those of you who are familiar with Hindi, the friends from Rajasthan would surely be able to get it right away. Antarik Pratyay Dar is, so what we did was we say Aap Dar, like IRR, short form. So you could write the formula in Hindi, save it, open it in Hindi, English version, it will work, or open it in Excel, it will work. The argument separator in BBS is semicolon. The argument separator for formulas is semicolon in BBS, in OpenOffice. We have retained the same format, it is semicolon. But when you open that same file in Excel, it will show you in the formula bar IRR with the comma as a separator. And vice versa, you write a file in Excel with comma as the argument separator. Make whatever you want, as many formulas, or you can have 20-30 sheets like your ITR. It opens immediately in BBS Office with all the formulas intact. So how does this happen? There is something called Microsoft started. See, how it happened was a little bit of the history. When they took Microsoft to the Competition Commission in Europe, you asked that question. It has happened. What happened was before the European Union came down heavily on Microsoft, they would not make it possible for you to have interoperability. That is not possible for anyone to open an OpenOffice file in Microsoft or vice versa. The second part was possible, that you could always open the Microsoft files in OpenOffice, but the OpenOffice files would not open in Microsoft. So after the European Commission judgment came, they said you have to allow, so they allowed. No sooner they allowed, they came up with a new idea. XML standards were adopted. That is called OOXML. So open XML standards were adopted by Microsoft. So, and OpenOffice being a service which is voluntary, people from Japan, Germany, and whichever part of the world, they all contribute to the code, and it is managed by Apache. Apache got it from Oracle. Oracle started it. Sun Microsystems had also done an open source office, which was then taken over by Oracle. Oracle then maintained it till 2010. They said they can't maintain it, and now it's being maintained by Apache Foundation. The problem with this kind of software is that you're always behind the curve, not one curve, I would say 2 or 3 curves ahead of the leader. Microsoft keeps moving ahead very fast. Now, when they adopted the open XML standards, it is again not possible for, you all would have experienced, if you write a file in OpenOffice, their Calc, and try to open it in Excel, the formulas don't show. Only the values show. That is the problem, that's why you can't use. Now we have implemented the XML standard. Having implemented the XML standard, it is possible for the interoperability to happen. That is why we have been able to sell to Shriram Finance and companies like that. We have been able to sell in large volumes. The reason is that the reason why they have purchased is that they have 2 types of users. The power users are the analysts who would want the macros to do heavy calculations. The rest of them use Excel just to view a few things, make small changes and send it out. So for them, they find it very worthwhile to purchase our software instead of either LibreOffice or OpenOffice. So this is where we are, and with macros being available and with being able to export to from Tally, it becomes very easy then for the CA community to make this changeover. Now this works on Linux and Windows. So we don't expect you to change your operating system. You can continue whatever your choice be. And while Microsoft Office 8 or 365, the pricing is somewhere close to 24,000. Whereas we sell at 3,000 rupees. At 3,000 rupees you can buy one license, and it's a permanent license, and you can continue to use it as long as you want. If there is a significant change in technology that happens maybe down 2 or 3 years down the line, we will also come up with a new version. Then we will price it again for those who want to purchase that. Otherwise you can go on using it one time, 3,000 rupees, that's it. This is as simple as this. You can access, interoperability is there. If many of you run back offices, and if you want the people in rural areas to be able to work in your back office, there is a trend now in India to have to move the back offices from tier 1 and tier 2 cities to tier 3 and tier 4 towns in India, where they could very well work in Hindi, or as we go forward we'll be coming up with all other languages. This is what we have tried to do. Unfortunately the cable I'm not able to connect. I've given you a quick view of the product. This is in short what we have tried.
Is it on web? Is it on web demo?
Oh no, the demo is not. Yeah, please.
What is the contains word processing, spreadsheet?
Yeah, I'll come to it. See, we have, we call it letters. Our word processor, we call it letters. We call our spreadsheet Max in place of Excel. Max, M-A-X. And the PowerPoint presentation is Show. And then we have, in addition to that, Records, which is Access, similar to Access, Records. And then we have an equation editor called Math, which is not very good, which is just about all right. And then there is Draw, which is far superior to Paint. You really can draw a lot in the Draw application. We are also in the process of configuring Thunderbird. So we are able to now give, if anybody wants to work with the client version. But going forward, we are working on the server aspect. We are trying to see how it can work. Except for, Microsoft has now moved to Office 365, where what they do is they are now offering you video conferencing, which is fantastic. You can have 7 speakers, 7 people on the screen. The last one fades away, the next one comes if there's more than 7, and the person who's speaking, he comes up slightly enlarged. But this, even in a very large organization, very few people are going to need it. So that's where it makes it worthwhile for you to look at BBS Office. Yeah.
So I've noticed that very often fonts, size,
Yeah.
formatting, everything is in PowerPoint.
Mm.
Is it possible to show result or?
Yeah, it is resolved. It is all through because of XML.
And so Kingsoft is not maximum.
Kingsoft has got 2 versions. There is one version with macros and one without macros.
Right.
The one without macros is free.
Right.
And-
Kingsoft is not free actually.
No, with macros they
It's only free for personal and home use.
Yeah.
It is clearly.
Yeah, that's
Their cost is 10 euros. Their cost is very minimum, 10 euros.
No, but with macros.
With macros.
No, with macros it's $70.
Is it?
Yeah.
I have
With
no idea.
macros is $70.
But what I understand is with macros it is chargeable
Yeah, chargeable $70.
and it is free if you want without macros.
No, that is like he says only for personal use.
It's a not
But even if let us assume $70 is 4,200 60 का वो पकड़िए with much
So Ganesh was
cheaper.
the free version is not XML based and
No, yeah.
macro is
Yeah.
But then again $70 is not per license, right? You
Per
buy-
license.
Is it?
Per license.
Okay.
$70 is per license. And then with all the taxes and import duty, whatever customs, it might turn out to be more than that. Whereas what we are...
But when you download, where is the question of import?
That's true. That's true. But then I mean, over a period of time, some kind of taxation will
Yeah, that
Come on.
30,000 TDS stuff.
will come up. At some point in time, the taxation will come up.
So do you have free version PDFs or
Pardon me?
do you have free version like Insoft does?
No, we don't have. What we are saying is that whether you're a home user or you're a professional, we don't care. We give you at the same price 3,000 rupees. And we give you in English and in Hindi. So, and then our Hindi version has Hindi help, 1200 pages of help in Hindi. You get on the desktop, you get English and Hindi help. And then you have spell check in Hindi. So we have added hell of a lot of features.
But
and
it is what, your own office or you have worked on open standard?
Open Office.
Open office.
We built on Open Office version 4.
Okay, so you have plugin.
Yeah, all these come as add-ons.
Okay. So it is open office actually.
Yeah, it is Open Office, but all the features that we've added,
Okay.
and we have also made many changes to Open Office. And now XML, Open Office does not have XML.
Correct. So that you added like
Yeah, XML is a very major.
So the macros for the government compliance is working now in your
Yes, it is in the final stages. There are a couple of buttons which is giving us some debugging issues. When we do generate, say in ITR 3, it is causing problems. So it is in the final stages of clearing. So it should, we expect that,
final.
yeah,
That is working.
yeah, export and tally works.
And it will work if you find using Tally on Linux through Wine, it still works.
Absolutely, because we are we don't differentiate between Windows and you can use any operating system. In fact, all of our development happens in a Ubuntu machine, and then we
No, his question is like Penguin force you to use one office.
When you can use a lot of alternative for Windows, crossover Linux. or
But that doesn't
Wine
work.
and install Linux.
But it's very difficult. It doesn't
you don't
work.
need to use that.
No, Wine directly Tally doesn't run on
Wine
Wine.
works.
Huh?
You have to know what to do. That's what he's doing. That's what Lineage Wine is doing. He's
So
putting-
please help members to share this.
See, there's
It's
a
free, 12,000 rupees is the server cost. Is charged.
See, there is. We have not yet worked to make Tally work on Linux. We have not yet applied our mind. But I have a feeling the way we have cracked the Tally export.
No, my question was Tally or Linux works on top of Wine.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you tried that
No.
exporting from Tally over Wine?
No.
That's what.
No, we have not done. But what we may work on is make it possible for Tally to work directly on Linux.
That Lineage Wine is using Wine only. He declares it himself.
No, but it's a lot of customization. It's still not working.
No, it's working.
No, Mitesh bhai tried it.
There are many people use.
It's a difficult.
put my case study also for your information.
Pardon me?
Continuously competing with Microsoft. As you said, Microsoft is always 2 years ahead.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to keep pace with them?
See, we're getting paid, right?
That's so, but
We are making money. So we have an interest to.
I appreciate that, but updates would be there for that in software. You would again go back to the new version 2 years down.
No. Every time we make some changes, till there is a version change, we will intimate you. You can download. There will be a pop-up message on your machine. You download it just the way any updates. Updates will be free. It's a one-time price, 3,000 rupees, with 2 languages and all the features, I think, and also with the prospect of updates which are free. Yeah, I mean, I would, I personally am a great admirer of Microsoft. I really love using Excel. And I think they have, except for Lotus 123, which was cleverer than Excel, I don't think there is anything to beat Excel as of today. I really think they are superb. That's my personal opinion. Pardon? Huh? Yeah.
So digital signature will work on his ITR. That is what we are trying to crack. Once that happens, Java is working.
What is the name of the site of
It is bharatbhasha.in.
Bharatbhasha.in.
Okay, yeah.
What we've observed in OpenOffice is that the links between two files in Excel, they generally do not work. So in VBA, is it possible to link different Excel sheets or different files and then open those links?
Yes, exactly. That's what. See, you have, pardon me, in BBS Office you can do. You can write all the formulas that you want. You have a linked file and then open it in BBS Office, it will work.
Even in the shortcuts that we have?
Pardon me?
Even the shortcuts that we have in Excel that work?
Yeah. Shortcuts more or less are similar. Some shortcuts may be different, but we have training manuals. I mean, we have videos to train you, and those are things that we do take care of. Yeah,
Somebody coming to install that, or we should?
No, you can install it yourself. It's easily installed. It's easily installed.
Download and install.
Pardon me?
Download and
No, as of now it is not available on download. As of now we send you a CD or a DVD and you install it. What happens is with the DVD we give you a number which we call the product number. So you start installing. Then you will come to a point where the software, the installation software will generate a 25-digit number. At that time it will prompt you to go to our website. You go to our website, log in with just the name is the same for everybody, BBS Office, and you put in this product number which we gave you. Then it will take you to the protected page on our website, where you enter this 25-digit. Immediately the website will give you the license key. The license key you copy and paste it onto your installation. The key, the process is complete. So this way we ensure that it is almost impossible to crack. Almost, I wouldn't say, because one never knows, but
demo or something.
Nobody should crack it. That's the session is.
People we are not able to.
नहीं अभी नहीं पर ऐसा आदमी को बुलाएंगे तो ऐसा
ठीक है, it's as a demo version, somebody can go and explain to each everyone how this.
so, see, each and every one is very difficult.
No, in the sense somebody wants to buy,
Huh.
you can definitely.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
That's what it is.
Absolutely. But you see, for sales, we are ever ready to sell. We made the product to sell, so we are ever ready to.
So are you appointing dealers?
Yes.
I need to
Yes.
meet. I need to meet you.
Yes, we would be happy to have.
I can go and install it for
Yeah. No, it is worthwhile for us to have resellers. It does make sense because it is not possible for us to go everywhere. When Microsoft and Adobe and AutoCAD, they have sales people, we need to have. I need to work on variable
We can help
expenses.
you.
The chartered accountants will tell me.
Your first question in between that somebody can come. He can. He knows everything actually.
I can do open source. I'm not come from marketing.
So you are not a tax consultant.
No, I'm not like that.
So you're like us.
Okay, friends,
So
we
one
are,
last question. Vijay, what problem you are facing in Tally? You are saying it's still not working.
A lot of problems. There are a lot of problems.
Lot of problems. So can you highlight some problems so that everybody?
One of the problem is, when we have two environments, that is Linux and Microsoft, when you access data files from Tiguin to Microsoft server, the files get corrupted and you end up losing data. And this has happened several times in our case. Other typical issue is when you trigger an export, it has to have compulsory Microsoft Excel installed in your Tiguin server. So otherwise, and again the piracy issue starts grabbing your net. Third, a very important point is you cannot rewrite the data on the Tiguin server. As of now, that time it was not available. Now they might have come up with the rewriting as well. So there are certain issues which are there. Then fourth issue is if you have a typical export application which exports data from Excel or any other spreadsheeting software to Tally, that application would not work on Tiguin. So certain problems are very typical, but they are there. So we need to be cognizant about those. But we are working, it is in our interest to help him sort those out. So we are working very closely with him. But we don't know when these will be solved or if they are solved now or not.
So they are improving quite a lot every year.
See, he's eager to help. He's ready to send his person in because it is a test case.
Yes, exactly.
So if you said it is so easy, install Wine, it's there.
No, the basic installation. See, problems will be faced by the basic installation like he is also facing problems. I am saying the basic installation.
It should work smooth as it is working on Windows. Then only we can say that we are ready to migrate.
No, but see, we are saving, like you said, it's a convenience of saving 4 lakh rupees per office or 7 lakh rupees.
But I should not lose my data. Then that is more worst. क्लाइंट का 7 साल के लिखा हुआ डेटा फट करके उड़ जाएगा, बैकअप नहीं है. Then the cost of re-entering what you are paying is more than 4 lakh. It's better that I use Windows.
So the inconvenience of not being able to export
Yes.
very easily.
No, and there is a thin line. He says install Excel on the server. Microsoft says it is on server, multiple people accessing it, multiple licenses. But he says give the means. Suppose I want to print something, I will access it as an admin.
But that is gray area because
This is gray area.
if it is installed on the server,
It is there. Gone. You're gone. Yes.
Connected on the record.
Yes.
Devices.
So that's not a right solution. Right? When you claim that,
So that's where the next right can help.
yes, that is where his software comes into the picture. So if we all struggle together, I'm sure this industry can save a lot of money.
So first thing we need to make this
To him
software
and to you as a consultant, because I don't provide this kind of consulting. I'm a web designing company as such. This is all my
No, I
hobby.
do Linux firewalls and mail servers and all that.
But then this is required, right? You can, if you install the open an office or open environment, this is very useful. With
Okay.
the- yeah.
Yeah. So it was definitely an awareness program for all of us, I believe, and we'll have more on this, at least, to, as you scale up in your learnings, I think you will be able to share in a better manner to all of us. Though Mitesh was speaker today also and being convener of IT committee, I would request him only to sum up today's entire process and entire proceedings, and thereafter it's about to propose development. So what do you wish?
Thanks. We are all a bit late, but I wanted to eagerly sum up this. Lot of things are under test, but that doesn't mean that it will not work. So let us be very optimistic about this, and it can really make a difference and make a mark if we work hard on adoption of this particular thing. CA office, I spoke to someone asked this question. CA office is working very hard. In fact, some of them have also told me that CA office is already migratable to Tiguin server or any other Ubuntu server. KDK, I have heard that few of their clients have tried and done the migration, and it is working fine with the open source. Because KDK and CA office both, and even others, are on SQL, MySQL, not on any SQL server or any price server that is like Microsoft. So I am sure that this migration would happen. Another thing is in the time when SaaS, that is software as a service, is coming, I am sure all the tech software will also go on cloud in 1 year's time. So it is not a big challenge. Slowly we will have to, it will become a browser-based application, and all the challenges about installing the what we call the MySQL or the Linux and all those issues will go away. Second thing is the purpose of doing this should be higher than the commercial purpose. So we should not restrict it to ourselves. We should try to make others also aware, so that our industry as such should be at least aware. So if there is something going wrong, or if we are doing some wrong decisions, we should do it being aware. Today most of us are unaware and doing some mistakes, so that should not happen. So we should try and pass this message on to the other professionals. Third thing is the applications are OS agnostic. So like Ganeshji's application is the open source application. It is working on Microsoft as well as Linux. Similarly, all the applications are OS agnostic. So you can try working on various applications like Adobe or PDF writer or your music system software or your photo editing software on Linux, similar to the Office, and those work very fine. Manoj Bhai also shared a website called as alternative for the alternative options of open source options. We should try and find those out and try to implement those on the Microsoft environment itself, and it works fine. I have tested various softwares like graphics software and photo editors on my Microsoft machine, which are open source, and they work very fine, like Vector Scale and Photoshop, and there are a lot of options available on the open source. Another very important thing is today is the occasion of Makar Sankranti. We all had Tilgul, and the Til in the whole thing is about the strength. The good is the sweetness. So the person who is strong is not sweet generally. But the Tilgul says that you should be sweet as well as strong. So many times we are so sweet that we forget to be strong, or many times we are so strong that we keep on doing bhai and we are not sweet. And there is third element called as the ghee, the gluta in this third thing, that is the til, good and ghee. So ghee is a thing which connects to each other, and it keeps the til and the good together. So that is the what you call the virtue of gum that it has. So we should have all these three elements of til, good and ghee in ourselves, so that our life becomes sweet as well as strong as well as connecting to each other, because humanity is ultimately here to stay, and we all are here to help human beings, and being human is more important than being a professional. Being human is more important than being a doctor or a chartered accountant. Being a human is more important than being an open source consultant, I feel. So most of the time we are always in our coats and pants and thinking that I am a professional, or I am a professor, or I am an open source consultant. It is more important for us today to think that we are human beings. And today the sun has moved in the north side, that is the progressive side of its what you call evolution. As you all know that from today onwards the sun will focus on us. That is why this is called as Makar Sankramanam. The sun is moving from what you call the south to the north, and the days will become longer than the nights. So we will all have to struggle harder, and the life will become more interesting and enthusiastic from today onwards. Till yesterday we were all sleeping in our coats and blankets. Today onwards the life will become more interesting. So our Hindu festival of Makar Sankranti teaches us a lot about enthusiasm, about change, about being ready to adopt new things. And today this session also told us about the same, that we need to adopt to new things. We should be ready to face beta situations like what Ganeshji or Manoj Bhai or myself are facing. That's the evaluation that we need to bring in, and that's where we are more human than anything else. Thank you. I think Manoj Bhai will, Maitri will propose the vote of thanks, and we will sum up this session. Thank you very much.
Wow.
this session today. I mean, right from IT to little bit of Gyan on Bilgul and Makar Sankranti. Looking at the interactions which happened today, I am sure that apart from few people, we must have heard for the first time what Zorin means, or maybe what alternative other operating systems are. So it was a great session. I mean, there's a saying, an ignited mind is a most powerful weapon on earth. I'm sure there's a lot of ignition happening today. Let's use this power. I will, it's a great privilege for me to extend a vote of thanks to our speakers, CA Mitesh Katira, Mr. Manoj Kotak, and CA Girish Annar. I would request all of you to just join me in applauding them.
Thank you, sir. Quite enlightening.
Thank you.
Good. Write the number.